CPU over here has not been working all that
That's the
great
Nintendo,
lately.
the NES original CPU you got going on. We got to blow into the disc before we put it into the console.
I am actually controlled by a Nintendo controller.
Up, down, left, right, BA, start.
That's the cheat code on my version of Contra.
That's how we get Big Boy to 3 hours.
Oh, my God.
All right, hell of a
listen,
show.
I'm on Washington tonight. I think Penix is the MVP. I think when it boils down to it, the best player on the field is Michael Penix Jr., and that's where I will go. And I also will go with the fact that they've got an awesome offensive line. Enjoy it tonight on ESPN and ESPN Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey folks, now that the kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I can see that it's time to get my carpets and sofas cleaned. That's where Zero Res comes in. Zero Res can clean the carpets, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google Zero Res and see what your neighbors are saying with over 5,000 5-star customer reviews. Right now, get 20% off carpet cleaning and 20% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Introducing Pelicano by Redboat Tours. Get ready for the ultimate tour experience. Smooth, quiet, and oh so comfortable. Our brand new custom-built boat is fast, spacious, and handicap accessible. And here's the kicker, it comes with a killer DS18 sound system and a dance floor. Pelicano is perfect for weddings, office parties, neighborhood gatherings, family reunions, and kids' birthday parties. Don't miss out. Visit redboattours.com to book your unforgettable sightseeing tour aboard Pelicano today. Redboat Tours, where every journey is a celebration.
Start your year off stress-free and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. One of our clients, Ben, said, "We never worried about showings or open houses on top of our really busy schedules. I would definitely recommend them to my friends and family." Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com. And start packing.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny. My dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings, and anniversary gifts, and birthday gifts. So it's pretty cool to see that family tree grow.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years. Our non-commissioned sales associates are experts. They have only one goal: your complete satisfaction.
We have a 6,000 square foot showroom with anything and everything that you could possibly want. Beards Diamonds has been family owned and locally operated since 1981.
It's still our goal to offer the largest selection of quality diamond jewelry at the best prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed. The reason we can make that promise? As Beards owners, we are on the floor helping you with your purchase. We have no corporate bosses setting the price. The chain stores can't touch our prices. They just can't.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com, including the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds and lab-grown diamonds. Come in and see us. We'd love to help you. Anybody that steps foot in our store is automatically part of the Beards family.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Chris
Christine Lisi. All eyes on Houston tonight, where number 1 Michigan and number 2 Washington clash in the College Football Playoff National Championship game. 6:30 Eastern ESPN Radio, 7:30 Eastern ESPN, and other ESPN platforms. One day after the Patriots ended a 4-13 season, Coach Bill Belichick, with a reminder for reporters that he is under contract, also said he's open to letting someone else handle personnel duties if he remains in New England. He's set to meet soon with owner Bob Kraft. If Belichick does leave, who might the Patriots consider as his successor? ESPN NFL insider Adam Schachter.
I think Gerard Mayo is on the staff, and he's been linked to that job, but it hasn't been a great year in New England. So I think they'll absolutely talk to him. Do I think he's a lock to get the job? I don't, but I think he would get some consideration, as others will as well. They're going to cast a wide net. Look, Robert Kraft hasn't done a coaching search in 24 years, 25 years.
The Commanders have started a sweeping overhaul of their football leadership with the firing of Coach Ron Rivera. Teams hired former Warriors GM Bob Myers and former Vikings GM Rick Spielman to assist with searches for a new head of football operations and head coach.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday as we head into the NFL playoffs, I'll tell you which quarterback I'm most concerned with. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Well, happy freaking Monday. My goodness.
That's not Monday energy.
No. This is awful.
What's got you down,
This was
Brent?
supposed to be such a good day in Jacksonville.
Oh.
Wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Was it supposed to be good or was it expected? It was supposed to be business as usual is what it was supposed to be.
The bottom line is if you go in the playoffs, the place hits a new level. It doesn't matter how you got there, whatever happened. It wouldn't even, maybe it would have felt fraudulent, even if you came back and won 31-28 in that game and you still looked like ass most of it. It still would have been, hey, you got a playoff game. The difference between a win and a loss yesterday, I mean, it is just huge. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt... Well, obviously, when the Jags lose the AFC Championship game, the gap between going to the Super Bowl and not is massive. Mm-hmm. But somebody just asked me downstairs, actually, on TV, like, what was that locker room like? And I said, if I remember correctly, that locker room was like, damn, but this is the start of something. You know, and you kind of have this false sense as an athlete, like you're going to get back there and it's just building something in Jacksonville.
Yeah, like it's step, step, step as opposed to backwards or forwards.
And we know that's not how it works, but it kind of is how we...
It's the expectation.
It's going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Human nature. And this one was different. So the gap between that, like regular season-wise, this is the worst loss I've covered in Jacksonville. I don't think there's another one. I mean, Jags did go 8. They were 8-5 in 2010 and lost their last 3. But that was to a Colts team that was kind of the premier team with Manning. The Jags are supposed to be the premier team.
Or at least win the game.
And they've been caught. The Jags have been caught.
They haven't been caught, buddy. They've been passed.
They've been.
Are you one of those guys? I saw a lot of that on Twitter.
Tell me how they're not. Because a team that just picked 2nd and 3rd in the draft finished better than them. A team that picked 4th in the draft and lost that guy just did what they did.
Okay, well, here's why I'll tell you. That's fine. Like, you're right. Oh, that's right. It's okay to say that. But I swear we just said the same thing about Jacksonville last year. Like they're about to go on a run. Their window's open. Yeah. Houston's not any good.
Like we literally opened up the show with it doesn't always work. Step forward, step forward, step forward.
But we'll get into that. That's fine. We can get into that later or in weeks from now. Because what's going to happen and down the road is not important right now. What happens yesterday and today. And there's 2 different elements of today for me, guys. It's one, well, really 3. It's the collapse. It's obviously the end of the season. And then the third element is, how didn't they just win that game? I mean, I can't get off the game. I know everybody's bigger picture right now, but, I mean, How did they not stop the run better than that? Derrick Henry was a shell of himself this year. And he ran for $130 by 2 minutes into the third quarter.
It almost feels like it's reductive to say, how did you not stop the run? How did you not stop the run when you knew it was pretty much the only thing coming at you?
Absolutely. Like, that's it. That's what you've got to stop. And they couldn't stop it. Like, I don't understand that. Everybody's on the offense. We're going to get to the offense. There's plenty to complain about the offense. I believe the Jags defense lost that football game in the first 32 minutes.
I'm with you, and I believe the Jags defense is responsible for them missing the playoffs this year, even with the offensive struggles.
Yeah, which is weird because the offense big picture struggles. See, I think what we're having a little hard time in Jacksonville right now is separating yesterday's game from the big picture. The biggest disappointment of this year was the offense.
Easy, yes.
They were supposed to be better.
They fell beneath the expectations that we and their own team had for themselves.
The Jaguars defense wasn't supposed to be great, but if you saw some graphics floating around there, they also weren't supposed to be 32nd.
Yes.
They claimed to have been a defense that was supposed to stop the run. Where did that go the last month? Where did the toughness go? Where did this year 2 in the system talk go? Where did going to get the football go? And so the reason why I feel so strongly about yesterday's game, the Jags defense, if not lost the game, they at least put them in a bad spot, is because, number one, Derrick Henry, when he gets going, is demoralizing to a football team because we've seen it.
It's a great word.
We have seen it. On the 69-yard run, guys, did you get the sense that the defenders didn't want to be on SportsCenter for the next 10 years?
Did not.
Like, you could see that they were, like, calculating, should I get too close so I don't get stiff-armed into next week? Like, he is in defenders' heads that much. You know, and Cisco ends up making the play, but he almost was, like, calculating, how am I going to make this play without getting the famous stiff arm? He almost looked like it was going through their minds on defense. But the bottom line is, the Jags got off to a 3-0 start. Okay, not great, but good enough. Boom, right down the field. They don't tackle well on a 3rd and 6, I think it was, from the 28-yard line. Spears just made it look easy. Trey Herndon might have got held. Trayvon Walker totally whiffed. Foye Oluokun took like a really bad angle, and that's a touchdown. Jags come back down a little bit. I think they punted and then whatever. They got the ball eventually, take a 10-7 lead. So they get the lead back. The mission in this game was to play out in front. Really, the mission this year for the Jags has been playing out front. But by the time you look up at halftime or right before halftime, they're down 21-10. And then you come out of the gates and you got new life because you got a free play on a free 3 points on a bad snap, 21-13, and they give up the 69-yarder to Derrick. Now, again, after that, the Jaguars' defense kind of did a pretty good job, although Tennessee missed a couple of third down conversions by just dropping the ball. And then the offense took over with not enough. 20 points isn't enough. But I can tell you this, 28 points was too much to a Titans team that really wasn't good on offense. This is like a 14 to 15-point offense, guys. They had 21 in the first half and 28 32 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think we detailed it pretty thoroughly on Friday that the expectation shouldn't be with Tannehill under center that this team scores more than 14, 15 points.
So then it just changed the dynamic. Because what happens then? Then you get tight. I mean, you get tight because you're down. You're the team to win. I mean, they end up being a carbon copy, basically, of what happened
almost every
2 years
game
ago
that they lose, but sure.
Well, but 2 years ago with Indianapolis. Jags had nothing to play for. Play nice and free and easy. And this time around, it was Tennessee doing the same thing. So the loss was so disappointing. And then on the offensive side, okay, here we go. What jumps out at you most? What's like the play that stands out for you guys?
I mean, to me, it's the very last play, the overthrow to Evan Ingram on 4th down. Just because,
wow. Interesting. Okay.
To me, it's almost a microcosm of what we've seen all throughout the season, even though I'm sure there are a few plays where the Jaguars had the ball in Titans territory and it either results in a turnover on downs, field goal, or otherwise that I could probably say here. But the throw to Ingram, because so many times this year, Ingram has been the only guy we can rely on that offense. But when it came down to it at the end, it's just this is what it was. Guys not on the same page all year. We heard communication every week. Wins and losses. All we heard, we need to communicate better. We need to be on the same page. That play didn't look like it.
Kasey, what do you got? What's the play?
The play that Ridley couldn't make at the end.
Yeah, that was kind of mine too. I just couldn't get that one out because I thought it was such. I like we hear all this noise about Prestell. I thought that was a great play call, and
they had it.
Ridley owned it today. I still feel like Trevor might have been off the mark by a little bit. I asked Christian Kirk about this after off camera, and I just wanted a little insight on the play. I was like, "Are you supposed to throw to a landmark? Supposed to be on a landmark?" And honestly, guys, he wouldn't even say. He wouldn't be like, "Yeah, it was Ridley. Yeah, it was Trevor." Now. I don't know if he was intentionally doing that. He was kind of like, it's just one of those football things. It's like, did he throw it a split second too early because there was some pressure coming late? He thought the nickel did a good job. Now, I have no idea what the design of this play.
Christian said this.
Yeah, he thought the nickel did a good job of slowing things up in the middle of the field, not getting fooled right away. And so, therefore, maybe a shade
they
hesitation.
had to wait a little more for it to develop, is what he's saying.
And he said they got the look. They got the look they wanted. They were waiting for it. They knew they might get the look, and they called the play. And Ridley's claim on that play was, and we actually have video of him walking off the field after the game and still talking to, I think, Tim Jones about it. And he kind of like makes this motion of running. And he said it in the locker room today where he just like, he thought he kind of panicked running or something like that. He thought he was going to get there, and then he had to speed up, and he under control versus out of control. In his mind, that's what went on. I mean, it's 2 inches one way or another on both ends, and it might be a touchdown.
You know, this
and
is
who knows
interesting.
if they go on and win the game, but it sticks out. And then obviously the 3rd and 4th down plays stand out.
We talk a lot about a quarterback second-guessing himself, whether he's trusting his teammates or confident in the play call or whatever have you. I never really thought about it, but obviously receivers are out there probably second-guessing in their heads, thinking on certain plays as well. This may be an example of that, where Ridley's just trying to do it right in crunch time when his guys need him so much that he's in his head going, am I doing this the way I'm supposed to be doing it?
Yeah, you wonder if there's a little hesitation with the Jags because things haven't always worked out well this year.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to go back and think, like we mentioned those plays. I think 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 stand out to everybody, right? To me, it encapsulates the season. I tweeted this last night. And in many respects, I think it changes what this team was versus what last year's team was. When Cisco picked the ball off, I'm like, holy cow, they're going to win the game. I was like, they just did what they did last year. They made a play, almost like this miracle play. They've been down the whole game. Looks like they were almost going to get blown out. It's 28-20. He makes the pick. He almost, heck of a play by Tannehill, by the way, to get over there. Or he's pick 6 in that thing. Then they get all the way down to the 1. And this is where I just firmly believe a lot of today's angst is tied up on what happened on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And not necessarily those plays, but kind of what it symbolizes about this football team.
Can't go get a yard, yeah.
You can't get a yard. And so what I mean by that is that the play caller's fault? Is that the line's fault? Is that Trent Baalke's fault for believing in the offensive line? Is that Doug's fault for not trading out Fortner and Shatley at center? Like, I think you can go in so many ways at why, but at the end of the day, on 3rd and 1, they do not feel comfortable getting a yard. And the elite teams in the NFL do. The good teams, maybe not even elite, do. The Cleveland Browns would. The Baltimore Ravens would. The Pittsburgh Steelers would. The Eagles certainly would. The San Francisco 49ers would. Heck, I think even the Dallas Cowboys, although they struggle on the goal line running the football, might too. Like, the list goes on and on. There are a lot of teams. The Jags don't. They don't feel good in that spot, so they try to get creative. They roll them out. It looks like a nothing play. It was a very few option play. And then Trevor tries for the sneak, and I'm telling you guys, when they put that football down on that outside of that 1 yard line, I thought about the sneak play on 3rd down. Like, it's too far away. It was too far away. Now, listen, they should have challenged the spot. It was a bad spot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been way closer to the goal line, like almost a whole yard closer. But where they put the ball is like, Trevor can't do this. Like, that's what I was saying in my mind. I don't think we're going to see that play. When they brought Bigsby in, I actually thought he was going to go over the top. Now, the plan was to hand off. Trevor audible. So, again, in this big picture, how much do these two plays say about where the Jags have been and where they are right now? Even Trevor trying to do too much in a spot that didn't make sense to do too much. Because he really could. Like, you've got to calculate that you can get in.
You talking about the fourth down play?
Yeah.
Did he audible or just kill the play?
I think he just killed the play. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
sounds
don't-
like he aborted the play, so
Yeah.
he never audible
The
to
only-
let everybody else know.
The only reason I ask is because this is getting torn apart now all over social media, replays and zoom in and all this. And you see Fortner getting blown up on the play. You see Sheriff pulling to the right. The whole line essentially pulls and creates this gap on the right where you assume the back was supposed to go. Instead of audibling out of the play, Trevor just decides to take it and try and jump. Well, he's got no protection. The whole line is moving right. Everyone comes right into him at that point. I don't understand how that doesn't fall on Trevor in that moment.
I think it does. I think that's what I'm saying, though. I think there's blame on that sequence of downs, the third and fourth downs. I think there's blame all over the place, from top down, from Trent to Doug to Press to Trevor to the offensive line. Like, it's about everything, except for defense, of course, on those two plays. But offensively, I really think it just encapsulates everything. So it's nuts. It is stunning that the Jags are not in the playoffs.
Yeah, shocking.
And it is. Doesn't this feel like, guys, doesn't it feel like a 3-win season?
It does feel like a real disaster, even though, for the most part, team was in first place the whole season.
The whole season until the last week. I mean, outside of week
it didn't
3.
feel like first place. It's not even my team. Didn't feel like first place. It felt like you were scratching and clawing every week to keep it.
It feels like a classic Jags wasted season. Except usually the other time it was like, they won twice.
Well, or you got a top 5 pick to fix it.
Right.
Or you feel better about it, sure.
This is just terrible. There's no...
This is the worst case scenario.
This is worse. The top 5 picks, at least you had a chance to screw that up. So now you're just in no man's land.
Poor Case.
Shout out. That's just terrible. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't know if I disagree with you. But gosh, everybody wants to talk about it today, which is kind of fun too. But you appreciate that. And when you're talking about it, it's like somebody else will bring up something different about, yeah, you're probably right. The blame. There's so much. And that's sports to a degree. But I guess as you sit here on a Monday, you're like, all right, what do I trust about this football team now? What do I know? Trust is a bad one because nobody really trusts the Jags after the history of the 30 years, right? But what do I know about this football team? What do you know? I mean, do you know Trevor is elite and your guy for the next 12 years? I think he is. But if you ask me, do I know? Yeah. Hard to tell.
Doesn't feel great today.
Do I know Calvin Ridley? Should he be back? I don't know. Do I know if Zay Jones should be back? I don't know. Do I know what the Jags are going to do at their tackle spot or with Walker Little? Or are they really just going to be blind to this Luke Fortner stuff and stick with him? I don't know. They just spent 17 games doing it.
End of show. We don't know.
I really don't. Where do they go fix it? In the draft? Free agency? How much money will they have? Who are they signing? Is this really Press's fault? Is Mike Caldwell good enough? I'll say this, the one thing that I kind of chuckle at today, and I know there's not a lot of laughing around here, is really more yesterday. I do think this, and you guys tell me if I'm nuts, because you're I stuck up for Saleh a lot this year, and you weren't on board.
Oh, boy.
But if you, I would say it this way. If you think Doug Peterson should be fired, I think you should take a breath. I get why everybody wants Press Taylor, the Caldwell, the bulky stuff. I'll come with you on a lot of different things. But the calling for Doug Peterson's head baffles me. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's void of blame. But I did just watch the last 2 years of what he's done, too, right? They went from the number 1 pick to back-to-back winning seasons.
Well,
they did.
You got to credit Trent Baalke with that, too, then.
I think you have to credit a lot of people with that, but I also understand. We'll get to the Trent Baalke stuff. I think there's more reason to lose hope in Trent because I think it's more from a vision standpoint of what he told us, what he thought about this team compared to how it ended up. But Doug, I don't know, man. I mean, the guy's won a trophy.
Yeah, that seems to be the defense every time we talk about it.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
enough
really,
for me.
like, will you entertain that? You'll entertain Doug?
I don't have a dog in the fight, so it's
Well,
not
that's
like I'm
why
sitting.
you're a good
right.
one.
I'm not sitting here passionately debating for one or the other, but I'm not hearing about the Lombardi Trophy with Philly. That's a resume thing to get hired. Once you're here, you got no trophies. You got no trophies till you win one here. That's for me. I don't know about the rest of the fan base, but that's how I feel about the Lombardi Trophy. When it comes to Doug, to me, he is charged with motivating the team, making him get up for games, helping to scheme and game plan, making sure the right personnel is out there week to week. I don't know. I saw chinks in the armor this year when it came to those categories. Am I ready to fire him? No. I think every NFL fan is real quick to start firing head coaches and general managers when their teams have a bad season. I don't think you should get one season to fall under expectations and get shoved out the door. What he's done in 2 years is impressive from where this franchise has come from. Period. Stop sentence. 2 back-to-back winning seasons doesn't sound like a lot if you're the Steelers. It's a whole hell of a lot here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Doug is fine for another year. Like, relax. I know you're upset. He's disappointed too. You heard it in his press conferences. He wasn't happy, and this wasn't just in the last 3 weeks. Like, they were in it. They were trying to figure it out. I believe you give the man another year. Now, coordinators, GM, players,
Yeah,
those
I think
are other
all those
conversations.
guys are on the table. Casey, I mean, I'm out of my mind. Like, and I didn't say I saw. It's not everybody saying that. I think some people are reasonable here, but I think there are some like some. I just think everybody wants somebody to pay.
Yeah,
right now.
That's what it is.
So there is a little emotion involved with that. And listen, the head coach is responsible for a lot of it. I understand. I can't get on board with the. Oh yeah, this Doug it's not gonna work.
Yeah, listen, I think what Aaron said is spot on. Like, if the Jags are going to start firing coaches for winning 9 games, you might as well move the team. Because, I mean, from where you were to not even playing football, whatever they were doing for a few years wasn't football. As much as it didn't look like it yesterday, they've played football the last 2 years. They won a bunch of times.
A Jags fan would have died for 9 wins 4 years ago.
Yeah, and,
Right.
I know that's not comforting today. Like, I understand that.
But Doug Peterson has no business losing his job. Now, I will agree with you. Somebody does need to lose their job.
Yeah.
Somebody's.
Listen, I'll take multiple. Somebody does need to pay for this because they have epically melted down. They have collapsed. This is a disaster in a lot of Jags disasters.
Yeah,
right? This is the top disaster because you were finally, I don't know, decent. Can't call them good because they're not in the playoffs. You're finally decent. 6 weeks ago, start of December, you play for the number 1 seed, you don't make the playoffs. Someone's got to go. Someone should be unemployed by 7 p.m., but it's not Doug Peterson.
6 weeks ago, they were actually good.
We thought.
No, they were good. I mean, they were. They were 8-3, playing on Monday Night Football for the top seed.
They won one more time.
Like, what happened?
Yeah, I'm not going that far.
Thank goodness Carolina was on the schedule.
You didn't have to go that far. The record said they were good.
The record was a good record.
The situation said they were good.
Record was a good
record. They had like
record.
a 2-game plus lead or something, 2.5 game lead in the division.
Look, record was a good record. But
So
it was easier for us to look at the Dolphins and be like, I'm not sure about that record, than it was to look at the Jaguars and go, I'm not sure about that record.
It was because the Jags actually had proven a little bit of mettle. They had beaten some good teams, at least from a record standpoint, strength of victory, not like the best teams. They had won in like 5 different stadiums. Like they had some things that they could check off that the Dolphins couldn't.
But the resume was always more impressive than the wins that they actually got.
Yeah, they got. I thought Evan Ingram said it really good. I think it was after San Francisco. He's like, we didn't get away with the stuff we've been getting away with for the last few weeks. I mean, they lost to this. No, they beat the Saints and lost the turnover battle on the road, I think, in New Orleans.
They did.
On a short week with an injured quarterback. Who wins that game? They actually dominated that game for like 3 quarters, too.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. All right, let's go. Let's take a break. We come back. We got everything's open. 904-362-9901. Text line's really open, all right?
More misery on the way.
But obviously we got to get into, you want somebody fired. You're not alone.
I do.
Who is most likely to lose their job? Will someone lose their job?
Well,
who should lose their job? I mean, those...
If someone doesn't lose their job, then what you've said is this is okay. What just happened here was fine.
For a second year in a row.
And that's not the right answer. Again, Doug Peterson's not that guy. Doug Peterson's the head coach. He should be. But there's 3 or 4 options that somebody should go. It is what it is. You can't let that happen and just, pretend like it didn't happen? Because it did. And it was terrible. It was atrocious. Someone's got to go.
More of that on the way. Kasey just answered the tease question.
Sorry,
We'll be
man.
back.
Someone's got to go, bro. My bad. That's on me.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy and a touch cool on this Monday with highs only in the mid-60s later this afternoon. I'm also tracking an isolated shower here or there, but the best shot of rain is going to be later in the day today and into tonight. It stays cloudy, but pretty mild tonight with lows only in the 60s. And then heads up for Tuesday, it's a First Alert weather day with scattered showers and storms. Watch out for severe weather. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
Happy New Year from Bold City Heating and Air. Start the year with the buyback program. You get up to almost $1,000 for your old AC unit when you purchase a new Carrier unit with Bold City Heating and Air. And new financing in, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Take advantage. Let Bold City keep your family at the right temperature and help make it a comfortable start to 2024. Bold City Heating and Air, one of the last standing 5-star companies, locally owned and operated, white glove service, certified techs, Bold City Heating and Air, boldcityac.com.
Start your year off stress-free and sell your home with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, there's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. One of our clients, Ben, said, "We never worried about showings or open houses on top of our really busy schedules. I would definitely recommend them to my friends and family." Find out what your guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8221. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
This year, I resolved to have a whole new view in life.
Nice. So what are we talking? New attitude? Maybe new glasses?
Nope. New windows and doors from American Window Products.
New view. I see what you did there.
They're Jacksonville's oldest family-owned replacement window and door company. Great prices, selection, professional installation. They look great, too. And you can save $250 off any entry door and free installation on 6 or more windows in January when you call 731-2247 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Thanks. I'll give them a look.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. For more information, visit lsfhealthsystems.org or call 988 if you are in crisis.
Medicare can be confusing. Shine is a great resource to get the help you need. Shine helps with healthcare options, prescription questions, and more.
My counselor helped me understand which options were best for me.
Shine is free, unbiased, and can save you money.
Talking to my Shine counselor really gave me peace of mind. When it comes to Medicare, I tell my friends to call Shine.
Get free Medicare help. Call the Shine helpline at 1-888-242-4464.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, or follow me on Twitter at BrentASJacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. I asked everybody their angry meter.
How'd that go for you?
10s, 9.9s.
Well, did you tell them the top of the angry meter is 97? So they're like, they're happy.
97.
I saw somebody put, I forget who, I don't know where it was, so I'm just stealing it, but they put, okay, what level of, what was the word they used? Of coping, basically, are you at? I think it was Dilla put, like, accepting. Right now, I'm at accepting.
Oh, what stage of grief are you in?
Your stage of grief. That's what it was. Yeah, my bad. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm still in stunned. And here's what I hate. This is what I hate it for. I hate it for you guys, not you guys, but people listening and stuff. Man, there were so many people in Nashville.
Jaguars
so
fans.
many Jags fans made that trip.
Lots of news outlets reporting on it.
Like, I can't believe that many people made the trip, and a lot of them just spur of the moment because they knew the game was big.
I got to imagine when the players see their fans in another market, it gives them a lot of juice, Brent.
Oh, man, I guess not.
No juice.
No juice.
Didn't feel like there was juice.
Maybe it was a good question, Case.
Didn't really look like they had much juice. Go.
No, I don't think so.
Not a lot of juice.
Is he critiquing?
I did. I did.
Was that my question?
It wasn't.
Okay.
But you doubled down on it on Twitter, so I had to go ahead and let you know.
Yep.
What did I double down on?
You said you got to imagine that when they see their fans in another market, it gets the players juiced, which is fine for you to make as a comment. But I thought as a question at a press conference, it was lame.
Yeah, Brent, somebody asked Peterson on Friday.
They were like, Doug, how does it make you feel when you see your fans in another city for a game?
And bro was like, good. That was on our cut sheet on Friday, but it was under the these are bad questions. Let's rip them. And I was like, yes, sir, let's do it.
This really has become a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the show.
In a way, it's kind of mine, too.
Yeah.
And I've told you this. You're like, in the last couple of weeks, you're kind of in my head.
I'm starting.
Like,
I'm
when I
hoping.
go bad, like, I catch myself, but I can't correct it. Then I'm like, all right, do better. Like, I actually think I did a pretty good job. You would have been proud of me today in the locker room for the most part.
All right.
Ooh. So there's one that sticks out that wasn't very good.
I don't know. I'm not going to clearly across the board say it.
I could do my job for me.
All right. The angry meter's high.
I was curious.
I'm
Case,
still in stun mode is my point.
Case, which stage of grief are you in? It's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Wow, so Dilla was in acceptance already? Like, this
Yeah,
was last night.
he's worked through it. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm also in acceptance.
Yeah, this is, by the way, this is beaten.
Give me him again.
Denial. This isn't happening. Anger. I'm so mad that this is happening. Bargaining. Well, maybe if this won't happen again. Depression.
Oh, yeah.
It's always going to happen forever.
That's probably where a lot of people are.
And acceptance. Jags are going to jag.
That's where I'm at.
I got to be honest with you, then I think I'm still in denial. And part of the reason I'm in denial, guys, is because the way our world works, like, I thought we were going to be doing shows, like extra shows. Remember last year we did shows?
Through January, yeah.
Do I
right?
remember?
At night, 11:30 at night, popping on the stream.
Well,
Let's go.
TV-wise, too, like, we're going to do 7 o'clock each night and all this stuff. And now, like, when I say, hey, what are we doing this week, or the schedule for this week, or stuff, like, I've got nothing on it. Like, there's nothing. Because I'd blocked it all off. So I'm still not to the point where, like, I feel like I should be working. and by tomorrow, I might be golfing.
Yeah.
Maybe watch some movies.
So I am in denial.
Can't Bury
I think, a little
Treasure's
bit.
documentary is still up if you guys.
Yet I really knew I didn't have like a terrible feeling the Jags would lose. I just thought it would be. I did think it would be pretty close. I thought this was going to be hard.
You said a lot of people think they're going to walk over the Titans. This is going to be a tough game.
I don't get that mentality. And can we stop with that mentality? Because this proves that mentality. How about this? The last 3 years.
Oh, no.
This isn't just a Jags thing. The last 3 years, the AFC South has been determined on the last week of the year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right.
Look at that.
Jags
involved
Jags,
in all
Colts,
of them.
yeah.
for the Colts.
Jags, Titans, Jags, Titans.
It's amazing.
Shout out to Jags.
Jags, Texans next year.
All right, let's get to the phone line.
Hopefully not.
and get Kay on. Kay, what's happening? A miserable Monday.
Well, to your statement about the fans, I just want to say this real quick. Maybe the fans shouldn't have shown up, seeing that the Jaguars don't like to win in front of their fans this year. So maybe that was a bad idea. But someone has to go. So when you look at the numbers in the red zone, the Jaguars are 21st. Third down offense, the Jaguars are ranked 21st. Fourth down conversion percentage, they're ranked 26th. Rushing offense, they're ranked 23rd. Now, last year, in some of these categories, the major ones, they were in the top 10. So that is a significant drop-off, meaning that someone has to meet the guillotine. And it's got to be Press Taylor, even though him and Doug are seemingly connected at the hip. The offensive line coach needs to go. I think the running back coach needs to go as well, for the simple fact that it seems like everything has to be ideal for Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby to get anything going, when we've seen MJD, Fred Taylor, LaShawn McCoy, these other running backs are able to make something from nothing when the offensive line run blocking isn't ideal. So a solution is to bring a fresh pair of eyes in there, a new approach to coaching up these running backs, maybe unconventional methods of training, like probably working on guard skills with ball handling in order to learn some crossover moves with your feet, maybe working with the wide receivers coach in terms of running routes, teaching you how to cut and plant and move like a wide receiver, route running, like something unconventional. I just think that the running back coach is too conventional and he wants everything ideal. And then the offensive line coach has to go, what about the quarterback's coach? Because Trevor has regressed significantly. So if you're not going to get rid of Press Taylor, surely you got to get rid of the O-line coach, the quarterback's coach, and the running back's coach, right?
Okay, appreciate the call. I don't know if they're getting rid of all those. It seems like it would be a lot. I mean, asking for the whole staff basically to change, or not whole, but a lot. But it's okay. Like, hey, we're asking everybody's opinions, whatever you think. And I think there'll be a lot of people that agree with you on a lot of levels. I would just always come back. I mean, I don't know the separation between players' responsibility and coaches' responsibility. It's a joint effort, right? And I think in this business, and like in their business, everybody takes accountability for it. Like today in the locker room, asked about coaches, they're like, it's on players. I mean, we can't be jumping off sides. We got to catch balls. Like, we got to do those things. I kind of agree with them. Like, I think there was plenty out there to be made this year. Now, does that tell me the players aren't good enough? Did they just not perform at a high level? Were there easier plays to be made if they called the right plays? Like, it's an endless circle in that regard.
Yes and no. I mean, if it's some players, you can be like, all right, these players are problems. But if it's a lot of players, you can go, all right, there is an issue here in the preparation where these lines are not getting crossed with each other. Like, this keeps happening with multiple guys. That problem, I think, needs to get diagnosed higher up than the roster.
All right, you got one guy. Is it bulky?
I'm not ready. And I know people are going to kill me on that. I know. I'm not ready on bulky. Here's why. The biggest crime I think that's been committed this past year was the sit put, let it cook
That was
philosophy.
100% the biggest crime.
Okay. That's not all bulky. He's got to be talking to Doug and going, Doug, what are you thinking here with these guys? Are these guys good enough? Do we need to upgrade here? Can we upgrade here? He's got to be getting the feedback from Peterson and the coaches going, no, this guy is good enough. He just needs a couple more games. Just needs another half season. Just needs another set of reps with Trev. Like, those conversations had to have happened for Balky to sit there and put his job on the line and go, fine, we're going to stand pat, as much as they did. So in that sense, I'm not ready to just serve Balky up for it. He's going off the recommendations of his guys. Now, the trade deadline move on its surface was great. Ezra Cleveland. There were teams who needed him more. Needed him more, would have given up more. Balky went out and got him. We didn't get the pass rusher. If you look at the stats at the end of the year, do you feel like you had to have it? Not by the numbers, but certainly it felt that way during the season, did it not, Case?
At times.
It felt like you had to get into that backfield and to the quarterback more often than you were. But it did eventually come together like they wanted it to.
I think people are stuck on the pass rush. I actually think the pass rush delivered more than people want to admit.
By the end of the season.
Yeah, in totality.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, but that's not how it looked halfway through the season because of the whole
times,
we need to let it cook.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not there on, he's made some really good decisions. He's made some decisions that were bad that he couldn't have foreseen. Calvin Ridley looked like the steal of the century when the deal went down.
The guy did go over 1,000 yards and led the team in touchdowns.
But did it feel like it?
Doesn't feel like it, man.
I get it.
Was he there when you needed him at any point?
No.
Yesterday.
No, he wasn't.
With a touchdown catch?
Well, yeah, but he also was open, had a nice route in the end zone. Trevor missed him on another, like a throw.
Okay, that's fair.
I get it, but if you're going to be a number one receiver,
which is what you thought you were buying, yep.
Justin Jefferson makes the play. Jamar Chase makes the play. Mike Evans makes the play.
I'll give you that.
He did not.
Yeah, I give that. I just don't.
But
know
is that on Balky for bringing in Ridley?
No,
like that was a tremendous deal.
No. That was a good move. I'll get it, but you know now, and there's been a few plays with Calvin Ridley this way. He did not make them. That's not your number one guy.
Yeah, you know that.
So you need to go one upgrade or two, keep him and still get somebody else.
Okay, that's for this offseason. But if you're talking, so the question was on Balky, I said I'm not ready yet. If you have to make a move, and I kind of feel like you got to make a move, aside from upgrading at a few positions, I think it's got to fall on Press Taylor. The whole season, the offense was a problem. The whole season.
Yeah, Kay had some pretty good numbers. I mean, for whatever reason, it didn't click. Casey?
Listen, I think...
You got one. Here's a question you got now. You got one play. You get to make one move in the organization.
It's the executive assistant to Trent Balky. Nah, just kidding.
Yeah, so here's the biggest thing that you got to figure out is, and this is wild to say, is the quarterback the star or no? It didn't end well with the quarterback. He was hurt in literally every region of his body, right? I get that.
It was knee, shoulder, head.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I get that. But you got to figure out if that's the guy. So to do that, you might have to get a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and I think it might even take longer than that because you're going to change this thing again next year, whether it's a new offensive coordinator. Granted, if Doug's there, maybe the playbook doesn't change too much, but you're going to be putting new players in there. Like you're going to kind of reset the learning clock a little bit once again.
Yeah, I think you can go in a bunch of ways, but I think the more and more I sit back, and I've been a defender of Balky. I think he's done a lot more good than anybody wants to give him credit for. I think take yesterday away and take the way you feel going. Let's go back to early December, even after a loss or two, and you would say the Jags being in this position, I think he didn't get enough credit for. I think there's plenty of it. But now we got to go over the full surface side of it. If I'm Shad, I'm thinking the GM was the driver in the vision of the roster and the decision-making to say, we're good. We're good. We're going to develop. We're going to be consistent. We're going to go to year 2 in all of this system. Our guys that we drafted, that we've acquired, are going to play better and better and get better, and we're ready to take that next step. That was the vision. The bottom line is they're about the same or worse. They're 9-8 and didn't make the playoffs. Now, there's some semantics in here because I could argue tougher schedule, injuries, things didn't fall away, but that's not it. I'm talking surface level, 9-8. Wasn't as good. You said we could be better, Trent, and we weren't. The thing that really sticks out to me is Trent is a trenches guy. Like if you go all the way back to San Fran, he's a trenches guy. I believe he really miscalculated the trenches and specifically the interior. If I were to take those three, really just 2 of them, keep Sheriff in if you want, take center and left guard and replace them with 2 better players, I feel like the Jags win 2 or 3 more games this year, and we're talking about a Super Bowl.
They possibly have a run game if you do that.
Yeah, like I feel like just that move, just 2 players. Now you add that to the defensive side where they invested into Roy Robertson-Harris. Devon Hamilton was a tough break because of the injury, the infection. And then Foley Fatukasi. Like, that has not worked.
Yeah, Foley was a swing and a miss.
They have not, but even they extended Roy Robertson-Harris. Are they getting enough out of him? He's had moments. But are they doing enough? And you are built to stop the run with the extensions, the extension, the the acquisition of Kasey, like those three guys in particular, you're built to stop the run, and they lost because they couldn't stop the run yesterday. So, like Trent, I think he has built his career based on trenches, toughness, big guys, those kind of things. And they're not tough enough. They're not physical enough. And their interior is miscalculated and maybe mismanaged in terms of how much they give to certain players and things like that. So from a vision standpoint, and from the fact that you said, let's do it again, and it didn't work, now I have to trust that your next set of vision is going to work. I'll give you one more example. They said, we're not good enough in the short run game, the power game. So what did they do to fix it? They got Anton Harrison. By the way, very good pick. They got Brenton Strange, and they got Tank Bigsby. Guess what they still suck at? 3rd and 1. So, like, again, I'm not fire guy. I think this guy's done a better job than anybody gives him credit for. But I also think there's signs that point to if you're going to make one move, and I do think there's just a stigma around whatever it is. Trent and Press are getting a lot of the heat right now. That's from the outside noise. But can you win big? You got to ask yourself, can you win big with what you already have in there? And I think that's questionable. You got a lot of big moves coming up. A lot of big moves. And if you had to pick one guy, I probably would do that. I don't know if Schotter's going to do that, though. Let's talk about that. Will it happen? Will anybody get fired? Doug Peterson just talked, and nobody's getting fired today, I can tell you that. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Make a change for our next generation. Apply to become a mentor for at-risk youth in Jacksonville at the Malavia Washington Youth Foundation. Call 904-359-5437 for more information. Again, that's 904-359-KIDS.
This year, wouldn't you like to stop feeling self-conscious about your receding hairline or thinning hair and to start feeling confident with the way you look? Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow from New Nordic as an effective way to get thicker-looking hair. Hair Grow is backed by an exclusive U.S. patent and is clinically proven to promote more hair growth. One actual Hair Grow customer writes, "After trying Hair Grow for a month and a half, my hair began to grow and thicken with no breakage when combing or shampooing. My hair is beginning to look great." Another writes, "A friend of mine noticed lots of increased hair growth. I couldn't be happier with the results and highly recommend this product for anyone with thin hair." Start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens or shop online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. That's new, NORDIC USA.com. Amazon, or ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Great financing options for the holidays available. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. For more information, visit lsfhealthsystems.org or call 988 if you are in crisis.
Medicare can be confusing. Shine is a great resource to get the help you need. Shine helps with healthcare options, prescription questions, and more.
My counselor helped me understand which options were best for me.
Shine is free, unbiased, and can save you money.
Talking to my Shine counselor really gave me peace of mind. When it comes to Medicare, I tell my friends to call Shine.
Get free Medicare help. Call the Shine helpline at 1-888-242-4464.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of Jacksonville is celebrating 35 years of supporting the health and well-being of critically ill children and their families who need to be near a hospital. To learn more, visit rmhcjacksonville.org.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. I'm not sure this is going to make anybody feel better.
Oh, boy.
Stuart Weber's at Doug's news conference, which started about 3:30. They really don't care about our show. Put these press conferences right in the middle of it.
It's because they know I'm going to call people out. They're trying to save everybody's feelings.
So here's just bullet points from
Stuart.
And it goes like this. Never thought about taking back play calling duties. Can press improve? Absolutely. But with struggles we were having, doesn't matter who called plays, might as well pick one without looking. Overall, Press did a good job organizing offense.
That's a wild
Doug thinks
thing
he
to
knows the whys. Things didn't go well at the end of the year after player interviews. Thinks they are fixable in the offseason.
All right.
Interesting that it took player interviews to figure out the whys. Doug doesn't think interior or offensive line needs overhaul to help run game. Rather, the group needs to stay healthy.
Okay.
Well, just saying it doesn't need an overhaul doesn't mean you're not replacing a guy.
Well, they got one that they almost have to in Sheriff because you're not bringing him back likely. So that's one. There's only two more. And you don't think the center's good enough. We don't. I'm not saying they don't.
Yeah, I think
so. 2 of 3 is an overhaul.
I think it's possible to be in a world where you replace Sheriff and Fortner and they don't consider it an overhaul.
I do. They're not good at math. Continue, Brent.
Yeah, that was about it for now.
Can we go back to that first one? Can you read the first one again?
Never thought about taking play calling duties back.
You buying that? Like, how far does it go?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's more involved than he admits.
Now, you've heard from Doug countless times now over the past couple of weeks, certainly throughout the season, that if we stop turning the ball over and we stop committing penalties, this will look better. But he says he knows how to fix it. So what is the fix for this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we need a longer segment on that because just like I just said in the last segment, Trent Baalke miscalculated the fronts, the trenches a little bit, the power game that they tried to fix. I think Doug has miscalculated one thing this year specifically, and I'll get to that in a bit. Let's get to South Beach Gary real quick. He's been hanging on. What you got, South Beach Gary?
Hey, guys, 3 questions, please. One, Brent, are the playoffs going to be on the 690?
Are the what?
Yes, they will.
The playoff games?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, because my Dolphins are on Peacock, and I don't have Peacock.
You don't have Peacock for a streamer?
No,
Oh,
I'm not a
Gary.
strutter. I'm not
Well,
a
now
Peacock.
you got to sign up for the whole service. That's the whole point of having the playoff game exclusively there. Don't you know what's happening?
I got a cell phone. I got cable. I'm not a rich man. I can't get everything.
Rich man, it's the opposite, bro. You drop cable, you start saving some money. That's me.
What else you got?
Number two, do you know if Schachter's met with anybody or made any comments since the loss? And number 3, guys, I want each of you to name the offensive and defensive guy who disappointed you the most this season from your expectations. And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, good deal. I appreciate that. Shad, by the way, has not said anything.
You expect him to?
I would not be. He doesn't really do that unless the heat really turns up to where I think he needs to.
Yeah.
And I would think those things. Doug said today, like, he's going to take his time. My guess is the organization's going to take a little, take a breath, not be too emotional about it. It's not like they're changing head coaches and they need a search.
Yeah.
And listen, the bottom line is, whether you like it or not, Shaw doesn't change stuff over when they're 3-14.
True.
So, like, if you think like they're just going to start firing people left and right, I mean, I think Doug has a big voice in the organization. Like, if he sees something, I think he might be more the heavy there. I don't know if Shad's doing this. Now, hard to tell. Hard to know the dynamic there. But I think I'd almost be surprised to see Shad make a move after 2 winning seasons.
Sure.
And I know that doesn't make anybody feel better. I'm just going on the trend. I mean, we've covered this now for a while, whether that's right or wrong. And I know most people believe that's wrong and has been wrong. But that's the way he has been. He's a big fan of continuity and loyalty, I guess, to a fault.
At least previously.
Yeah, at times it's been to a fault. We'll get to your question about most disappointing offense, defense. I kind of like that. And how many are there to choose from? But going back, Doug just had comments. He is standing up for his guy, Press Taylor, and this is what many people believe got him fired in Philly, and many fans don't like it. But speaking of loyalty, there is definitely that. What else Doug said, and his big fault, in my opinion, on this epic collapse in Jacksonville, next on ESPN 690. Happy New Year from Bold City Heating and Air. Start the year with the buyback program. You get up to almost $1,000 for your old AC unit when you purchase a new Carrier unit with Bold City Heating and Air. And new financing in, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Take advantage. Let Bold City keep your family at the right temperature and help make it a comfortable start to 2024. Bold City Heating and Air, one of the last standing 5-star companies, locally owned and operated, white glove service, certified techs. Bold City Heating and Air, boldcityac.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Did you know there's dust floating around your home?
Really?
Yeah. Dust starts on hard surfaces like shelves and ceiling fans. And when you walk by, dust starts to move, compromising the quality of the air you and your family breathe.
So, what do I do?
Get Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster. Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster is the fast and easy way to trap and lock dust.
Before it gets into the air.
Exactly. So you can just... Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster, proud partner of the American Lung Association.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau. Check out Action Sports Jacks weekdays from 3 until 6 on ESPN 690.
Sports Center. I'm Christine Lisi. Countdown continues to kick off for number 1 Michigan, number 2 Washington, College Football Playoff National Championship game, 6:30 Eastern ESPN Radio, 7:30 Eastern ESPN and other ESPN platforms. Whichever team wins tonight, it will become the first non-SEC or non-ACC team to win a national title in a decade. Today, Patriots coach Bill Belichick told reporters he's open to letting someone else handle personnel duties if he remains with the organization. Also mentioned a couple of times he's still under contract. His status for next season up in the air as he prepares to meet with owner Bob Kraft. ESPN's Rex Ryan.
My gut says that Kraft's ready to move on. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I'll say that because he's had 10 weeks to say, this is my coach. Right. And this is the future. We're going to keep going forward. It's not going to happen.
Wink Martindale's resigned as Giants defensive coordinator. Earlier today, New York let go 2 of his top lieutenants, outside linebackers coach Drew Wilkins and his brother Kevin, a defensive assistant. Maple Leafs signed winger William Nylander to an 8-year, $92 million extension.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday as we head into the NFL playoffs, I'll tell you which quarterback I'm most concerned with. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour we go. The angry meter up to a 9.9 here in Jacksonville as the Jags lose 28-20. Your kind of people. Oh, man.
Let's all embrace each other, guys.
Yeah, we're all in this together. This is one thing I'm not trying to do today is convince you of anything. Let us have it. Right?
You don't think we're good enough? We just need to cook? Maybe let it build another
fire
year?
Everybody, go ahead. What the hell? I don't care. Nice. Somebody just said fire Brent. I said, listen, if it meant a couple of Super Bowls, then I'll take one for the team.
Nice. We could use less Brent.
A lot of us could use less Brent.
Amen, brother.
We got John on the line?
We do.
What's happening,
yes,
John?
I'm here. Hi, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
What's up, man?
Oh, fine. Well, the way I look at it, I wanted to make 3 points. I can see the state of mind of the Jaguars, and mine at first, early in the game, was kind of comical. The way they just went right through us. I was laughing at times. But I looked at it, our expectations were really kind of too high, I think, for the team. I don't think it was so much a lack of effort, it was a lack of talent. Who other than Allen, Etienne, Ingram, Aluakon, and Kirk would anyone really pay to get? Second point is, Lawrence is kind of frail. I mean, I admire his guts. He's brave as can be, but he's tall, he's thin. He makes poor decisions. It reminds me of the time when Peyton Manning was the quarterback for the Colts, and they won the division every year. Stroud is going to be a superstar. That scares me to death down the road. Look at the quarterbacks that made the playoffs. Stroud, Allen, Mahomes, Jackson, Rudolph, Tuivalu, Flacco, Stafford, Goff, Purdy, Mayfield, Hurts, Love, Prescott, let alone Burrow and Browning. Who of any of those teams would rather have Lawrence? And my third point is, if there's any bright thing about this, we're going to see some real football now like we did last night. Brady's retired. The Chiefs and Eagles are both struggling. We got 13 games left to determine a champion. This thing is up for grabs. Every team could win any game, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Thanks for the airtime.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it, and some good points. Also, I don't know. I was really surprised the defense didn't show up. In a game like that, you figure you might have some misplays on offense, but the defense from a tackling, just bringing all the energy in the world, would be flying all over the place. But I'm telling you, if you go back and watch it early, and you watch Derrick Henry's runs, he didn't run over people, guys. He had a lane. He had a truck to go through the offensive line. They manhandled the Jags. They beat up the Jags. The Tennessee Titans, who have one of the worst offensive lines in football, beat up the Jags up front on defense. And without Jeffrey Simmons, the Titans controlled the line of scrimmage. Now, they didn't really get to Trevor that much, but they controlled the line of scrimmage at the point of attack when it came to running the football in certain spots. They'd have a good run, and then they'd have a bad run. Yeah, and they did a good job of tackling, whereas the Jaguars
did not.
So as for Lawrence, listen, we're going to talk about Trevor a lot here, and it's a fascinating question. As you sit here right now, I get why the questions are out there. I also think if we sat here 6 weeks ago, we would have been blank checking it. So it changes. And heck, it changed for Josh Allen last night in the game. I mean, it's just a wild thing when it comes to the quarterback. And I do agree with you that we should have good playoffs. Let's get another call, Steven, in before we turn a little bit to Doug Peterson on what he said today and where Doug's fault lies in all of this. Steven, bad Monday, man.
Oh, yeah, bad Monday. Well, my thoughts on the game, just pathetic, point-blank period. The defense didn't show up. Allen and Trayvon did what they could. We get no interior push from both sides of the line. If I had to pick somebody, Balky takes the brunt of this. I mean, you didn't have enough good talent. You didn't even attempt, at least that we know of. Aaron has a good point in that. We don't know what happened. But all in all, we got to get more talent. The OC, the play calling and everything, that's got to be fixed. But I do agree in a way, players got to execute, players got to make plays. My problem with presses is situational play calling. You're on 3rd and 1, and you're going to try this bootleg rollout when we all see that it's not going to work. For 2 years now, doesn't work. It's either an interception or Trev runs it in himself. You cut the field in half, it just usually most of the time doesn't work. You should have just ran it with Bigsby because, let's face it, Bigsby had the best game of his career yesterday.
Yeah.
He was averaging 6 yards a run. Why not run it with him up the middle? We've asked that all year, and it's just like we don't believe in him, or we don't believe in the interior. And once again, Trev calls his number, not thinking of the blocking scheme, not even telling front, saying, hey, I'm gonna go jump right over you, instead of people blocking their man right into him. Just a bunch of judgment stuff that I think needs to be situated, if it can be situated. And I'll just take your comments off.
All right, Steven, appreciate it. There's a lot to, obviously, he hit on a bunch of stuff. But let's get back to the Doug Peterson stuff. Doug, if you guys you're just joining us, he met with the media. I think it's over now. But Stuart Weber tweeted out some things in the last 20 minutes from the Doug Peterson news conference. And in that news conference, I'll highlight a couple of things real quick, what Stuart said. Never thought about taking back play calling duties. Can press improve? Absolutely. But with struggles we're having, doesn't matter who called plays. Might as well pick one without looking.
That's a wild quote.
That is a pretty wild quote. Just like throw a dart on a board.
Wild because he's saying they have no control, or wild because he's basically chucking all of the players under the bus?
Well, basically saying they're all not working.
So basically, there's nothing we could have possibly done.
Yeah,
but
any coach, any coordinator would have failed with this team.
I don't really know who he's throwing on. It feels kind of player-like that nobody's making plays, so what? It doesn't matter what we call.
No, he's not even saying that. He's saying they're making the bad plays. They're turning the ball over. They're getting penalties. He's like, with that going on, it doesn't matter who's calling the plays. We can't win.
I feel like it's just a wild thing to say.
It is. Now, again, this is paraphrased here, so the context of the whole quote I don't have. But
if he says, if any point in time he said we can just pick one, that's what I'm talking about.
Pick one now,
this one.
How did the national people react when Trev's like, it looks like we don't practice? This might be a little of the same thing.
Yeah,
you got to figure that out.
It could be. Overall, Press did a good job organizing offense, according to Doug. Listen, he ain't getting rid of Press Taylor.
No.
This is interesting to me because if Press is really the issue that ultimately ended up getting Doug fired from Philly, and we don't know that it is, you got to wonder if they're really good friends and Press sees the writing on the wall if Press leaves. Because he doesn't want to keep getting Doug canned.
Yeah, but Doug doesn't have to worry about that. I don't think that would be the case. There's loyalty there. He obviously believes in him. Listen, these guys like to win too. If he thought, boom, that would do it, I think he would do it. I don't think loyalty always wins the day, but that's not going to make people feel happy. Like my impression of what Doug is saying, reading from this news conference, is like, Press Taylor ain't going anywhere.
Well, also, it's not a situation where Doug and like Trevor are watching Press Taylor call these plays and they're going, well, this is a horrible play call. Because if they were disagreeing, they'd be having that communication.
Well, did he do that on the goal line?
That's a good call, Case. Good call.
Here's my issue on the Doug Peterson-Press Taylor relationship. This started in week 1, Kasey. This was the morning. I was in Indianapolis. I'm doing a live shot in the morning show from a parking garage, and you can oversee Lucas Oil Stadium. I can exactly know where I am. Just outside the team hotel.
Traumatic moment.
And it comes across Twitter, Ian Rappaport, to open the season, that Press Taylor will have play calling duties. This was not a conversation.
Never.
It had never been a conversation. And Doug is like, and my belief from that day and still today was, we're going to be good on offense, and I'm not going to allow what happened in Kansas City with Bieniemy to happen here, because Andy Reid gets all the love, Bieniemy didn't, and therefore missed out on opportunities to get jobs because the perception was Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes were doing it. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to have a high-flying offense, so the perception is going to be Doug and Trevor are doing it. But I asked Press Taylor to stay, and remember, he turned Baltimore down, I think, for an opportunity to join their staff. And so, as a return, I'm going to make sure he gets the love for this.
Yikes.
And gets the opportunity. Now, what Doug would later say is, well, he called second halves last year. So they're familiar with it. What I interpreted it all as was Doug's still got the stamp. If he wants to play in, whatever. But you do add a muddied up nature to it. Like if it has to go through Doug and then back to Press, maybe that's why we saw not being able to get lined up. Delay of games. We saw way more of that this year than last year. Why? This was year 2.
Yeah, I agree. Feels like at times they had a problem getting the play in. Or at least giving Trevor enough time to survey the land to see what he could do.
And all that goes in like a quick clock countdown. It's very precise, right? So if you have one more step in the process, you get the play in a little bit later, then now you've got to move Ridley, who's out of place because he's new to the offense, all that stuff. So I think Doug miscalculated the whole thing there. He put that out or leaked it out or somebody leaked it out on the morning of the opener.
That's tough.
And by the way, the offense did not look good in the first 2 games. And then here we go. It starts to bubble. And it starts to be, the heat gets turned on. And you're 1-2. And now the heat keeps going. And you're still clunky. And yeah, you're winning, but you're still clunky. Like you play against the Buffalo Bills and you run for 200 yards and you still turn it over twice. And you only win 25-20 where you should have scored 40. Like you never take off as an offense. And now Press Taylor's getting all that instead of Doug. But I still think this comes back to Doug because in the big picture, Doug kept referencing for the whole first year of his tenure in Jacksonville, year 2, year 2, year 2. He was preaching patience. It's like, listen, this takes time. I get it. Year 2 with Carson Wentz, he was giving us examples. What happened in Philly? He really started to get it. Now, of course, they won the Super Bowl in year 2 and all these other things, but how can you preach year 2, year 2, year 2, and then hand off the offense to somebody else in year 2? You're not even hearing it the same way.
Also, looking forward, if they do end up moving on from Press Taylor and Doug brings in another offensive coordinator, do we really think Doug's then not going to be play calling?
It's true.
So what are you bringing in?
Because, yeah, I mean, it feels like the only reason Press Taylor's calling plays is, and I think you're onto something, Brent, but because that's his guy. Like, I think he trusts him up and down. So you bring somebody else in that's not Press Taylor.
Yeah, like hypothetically, if Eric Bieniemy comes to be the Jaguars offensive coordinator, which I don't think is going to happen, but if that happens, like, is Doug allowing him to just have full run of the playbook and whatever happens, happens?
Doesn't feel like
Yeah,
it.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So now you're back down another step.
Yeah, I think
just that square one.
The
case.
logic of this just doesn't make a lot of sense overall. Again, how much of this was perception? How much of this was reality? But the bottom line is he miscalculated it either way. Year 2 language, year 2 voice was different. Propping Press Taylor up actually set him back because Press Taylor is going, his name's going to be on a season that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't live up to it. So really, it was a miscalculation on Doug's part, whether it was Press's fault and Doug's fault or not. And this is can be egotistical business. Listen, if I was in that coaching room, and I've said this before to you guys and everybody else that's all over the play calls, I think a lot of this is on the players. I don't understand why you can't line up correctly in December. I don't understand why you're on the different page when you've played together for 2 years. I don't understand why you are turning the football over like a lot. Like, I think there are a lot of plays that have been there. We even said this last year about Doug when he was calling plays. The Jags in the first half of the year weren't making plays. But we kept saying, it's like, the play is there. Remember how many times we'd say the play is there?
Yep.
I don't know if I noticed that as much this year. But, like I said to somebody yesterday, couldn't you actually give a pat on the back to whoever was calling plays this year, considering they had 0 run game up the middle? Like, you totally yanked it from the playbook.
Yep.
You yanked it. Because you couldn't do
game
it.
up to the sides either, by the way.
You could not do it. So you had to work around, like, all year. And then injuries and other things, I think, factor in. But
lucky for them, they didn't need to run much in the second half.
It's a players thing, too. Say it again.
I was going to say, lucky for them, they didn't need to run much in the second half of any of these games.
So I've got my 3 issues with Doug are the whole way he set up. It was a miscalculation on how good they were going to be to either give Press the reins or give Press the love or take care of him, which I admire that part, that you could say, hey, it's not all about me. But I think it was a miscalculation. It didn't work because they didn't perform at the level we thought they were going to perform. And I'll give you 2 other things. I do not understand, and he did it again today and actually stuck up for the offensive line and said the interior, it doesn't need an overhaul. That was part of his news conference today. I don't understand how you can watch this football team try to block on a 1-yard play and never change the center out this year and try something different. I just don't get it. I get there were other injuries. I get continuity was a bit of a problem. But you have not been able to run up the middle for 1 yard for 2 years.
Ezra Cleveland with a 38.5 PFF grade in run blocking yesterday.
They have an option. They've got a guy in Shatley that you could at least try. And maybe it wouldn't work. And what people will say is, well, you want a more athletic guy and one of this. And yeah, that's fine, but I want a guy that can move the other guy in front of me.
Just a little bit.
Just a little. So I put that on Doug. I think Doug tried other things. They sat Devin Lloyd last year when it wasn't going well. They tried to kick Trayvon and Josh in last week when he talked with Mike Caldwell. They've tried things. They sat Bigsby down when he wasn't performing.
They have, but then there's also, over the last 2 years, 3 or 4 things you could point at that make no sense that they didn't try earlier at all. Like, why did it take him so long to move Trayvon?
Yeah,
why did it take him so long to move Darius Williams? We can do this.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. I think this does go back to kind of what Aaron said this a couple of times, whether it's in commercial break or the show. It's like, well, you got to give it time to see if it's like, what's enough time, right? What's enough time to be like, okay, this isn't working? Well, I think 17 games is enough, and I think 34 games is enough. The Jags can't get a yard when they need to get a yard. That has not changed over 2 years. As impressive as I've been with the way they've moved the football on offense, it's the best offense I've seen in Jacksonville, and I've been here since 2008. Like, that's cool. But they still can't get a yard.
Right, but it's criminal 3 games left in your second season that you haven't identified you can't get a yard up the middle and to do nothing about it.
I think they identified it.
Well, and then to do nothing about it's
well,
even
would you
worse.
have, like, they're not picking up like some standout guard in
at least try to play
15.
Shatley.
Yeah, our point was just play Shatley. He's like a more stout guy.
But if you believe in the numbers, he hasn't done better at all. He's done worse.
With less opportunity. I mean,
I guess.
I'm just saying, if you believe in how PFF grades people out, He's actually a worse option than Ezra Cleveland and Walker Little.
Well, then why did they? No, I'm not talking at guard. I'm talking at center.
Oh, at center, okay.
Yeah, and then why did they go to Bigsby all of a sudden with the season on the line? They went to Bigsby the last 2 weeks. What did
Fresh
he
legs,
done to earn
I don't
it?
know. Yeah, that was weird.
Expect the unexpected.
Hey, on the Fortner front, and I think this is where Doug sometimes gets a little bit cute, especially when he's questioned a little bit. This is the only thing I side with Philly Paul on. Sometimes I feel like Doug sidesteps a little bit and does lean on the numbers to make his point, even if it's not the right point. But people calling out Fortner, yesterday's game with Fortner is his 5th best game of the season, according to PFF.
Oh, jeez.
Like pass blocking, they're saying he did fine. And if you look at the numbers, he kind of did. But in the run blocking, he had a 50.2. And it's harder to care about 50.2 when your best run blocker is Brandon Scherf at 63.5.
Yeah, they just don't move.
When your starting left guard is 38.5. When your starting right tackle is a 39.7.
Yeah, that's terrible. They just don't move people.
Well, the other thing is this. In my opinion on Doug, is he too stubborn? Is this what got him fired in Philly? And listen, there's no bigger fan of Doug Peterson the last couple of years in Jacksonville than me. But
made that sign.
He did make a sign.
Yeah,
did you?
Back now.
No sign this year.
But at some point, and I think Aaron's right. He's got the right, I think, view on this. Like, you've got to be consistent to your team. You got to be consistent with what you're working on to be able to get better at it. But at some point, did you have to say, like, okay, like, we're not lining up well? Like, we have to simplify things or whatever. And that's why I go back to yesterday. I believe they were trying to simplify things on offense, but the defense didn't allow them to because the defense didn't keep them in the game. So then they had to kind of go back to the old way of doing it instead of play it like they did against Carolina. I wondered if they tried to find something in Carolina game. They were forced to. Carolina's not good. C.J. Beathard was playing. That they were like, okay, if we're going to win in the postseason, we're going to take care of the football because we've been a turnover machine. So we got to run more, even if it's not working, and our defense has to come up big. Well, that's good until your defense doesn't come up big.
You know, it's
defense
interesting
sucked yesterday
because this is what people were shouting when C.J. Beathard was going to get the start. This is actually what we need right now. We like Trev, but C.J. can win this game. We can simplify the playbook. We can get back to basics. It's what they did. Granted, it was Carolina, so maybe a little bit easier to get that W than another team with a better record, but so be it. That's what it was. Then you look at yesterday's game and you go, yeah, Etienne had 16 carries, but they essentially, they didn't give up on the run attack in the second half, but they kind of did. I think it was 8 or 9 rushes in the second half and 29 for the game. So
they had to throw the ball.
They had to throw the ball because they were behind, but that was every game this season except for one or two where we kind of mentioned, hey, you didn't abandon the run, and it actually ended up working out for you even when you were down. It's just they can't. You're right. They can't move bodies. You're not picking. It's
you
hard.
can't run when you're down 21-10 and 28-13. Well, you can, but not as much as you want.
But you only can if you can get positive yards from it. If you're just running on first down and make the play so you can throw on second and third and punt on fourth, you're just going to go 3 and out every set of downs.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kasey.
I was just going to say, and then when you couple that with, you ask then your quarterback who's clearly not healthy, I don't care what they say and what he says, he's clearly not healthy, to throw it as many times as he did, like that's not going to work. That's why the C.J. Beathard thing is interesting because you probably hit some of those throws. Granted, you don't hit the long touchdown. I believe that. And you're not close to hitting the second one, so I'll give you that. But, like, you couldn't run the ball. You forced the hurt quarterback to throw. And, you couldn't miss some throws and you couldn't win because of it.
But see, this is where I disagree with people. People put that on the offensive play calling. I put that on the defense. The defense changed the flow of the game. This is a Titans offense that sucks. They really stink. And they let them get 28 points in the first 32 minutes of the game. Like, it changed the way you wanted to play, in fairness to Doug and Press and everybody else. So, like, then you couldn't do some of those things. You have to then throw the ball. And even then, some people thought you were taking too much time to move down the field.
Right.
So, like, I think we got to look at it through that lens. It's kind of like, did we already talk about this? How'd you feel about kicking the field goal or not?
I don't think we did.
We have not talked
a lot
about
of people
this.
were over the talking about the Jags not kicking field goals.
Well, because they had 2 opportunities early on and then one at the end of the game that would have won by 1.
They would only needed the field goal potentially, right? Well, all right, I'm going to try to play Doug here on the sideline that game. I think that series, when they went for it on 4th and 6 or 4th and 7 from the 33 of Tennessee, it was like middle to late third quarter. Might be more late, like 4 minutes to go, something like that.
Thought it was earlier, but okay.
Was it earlier?
I thought
Let's
so.
just say, but it's in the third.
It was definitely in the third.
There's plenty of game to go. So from that context, I could say, okay, you can kick the field goal there. 28-16. Well, I will tell you this. I was down the field early. The wind, that direction, they were going into the wind. Would have been a 50-yard field goal. And how much faith does he have in the kicker these days?
Are you talking 4th and 7 to Zay Jones?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much time was left, did it say?
7 minutes, 14 seconds.
Oh, yeah. So middle of the third. Plenty of game time. Plenty of time to take a field goal.
But
at that time, when it was 28-13, I remember tweeting something to the effect of, you got to go for it because the Titans are about to score 40.
Exactly. That's what I would say. If you're playing Doug there, I would say, if we're being real, our defense can't stop anybody. So this is all we got. Because I know, or I feel pretty confident, they're not going to make the play. So I got to force it. So I don't think there's any, I mean, I'm not mad at him for going.
Now, the play is goofy.
The play's goofy. The quarterback's hurt. I get all those things, right? There's those kind of outstanding circumstances. But you couldn't sit there watching that game say that our defense is going to make the play we need them to make for us to stay in this. So I got to go here. That's what I would say if I'm Doug. The only stop you had made so far is when the punter dropped the ball.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying, well, if you'd kicked the field goal like that, Doug does not have the luxury of that. You got to feel the way the game's going. And in real time, I think we're feeling the same thing, Kasey. Like that, you were going to need 35 plus to win the game.
Right. You're not getting.
And you didn't have enough possessions to kick field goals.
I never really felt that way.
Really?
And I realized the game was 21 before the half and 28 as soon as the second half started, but it felt like 21 happened quick and then nothing. Bupkis for the Titans, and then 28 happened and then nothing for the Titans. Each time they had an opportunity to kick the field goal, I wanted to kick the field goal, partly because I had 1.5 kicker parlay. But McManus hit that in the first half is my point. He was hitting his field goals.
Yeah, mine's not on the kicker.
Like, I don't think it has as much to do with the kicker, but I can see shaky confidence in the kicker, Kasey. 51 yards going into the wind.
Yeah, I get it. It hadn't been great from outside of 50 since the whole debacle.
But this is why you brought him in. Is anyone going to hate on Doug for using him for that purpose?
I think that's a sub-footnote here. It's just like, Casey's right. It's the game flow. It was more a game flow decision than it was a kicker decision.
They couldn't stop him.
You guys felt like you needed 35 to win that game?
Absolutely.
There was nothing going
after
the
as
first
it turns
half
out,
for the
you
Titans.
needed 31, basically.
At that point,
You
they
needed
hadn't
29.
stopped them.
I know, but you weren't getting 29.
You needed 29. And really, if the defense came to play, you needed less than that.
And they came out in that half. I don't know if they had gotten the ball again since, but they come out in that half and Henry pops one for 90 or whatever it was.
Yeah, 69 yards.
Like, there's no... You can't sit there and say, oh, these boys are going to make a play on defense. They're not. So we got to score here. Now, the play design, and again, it's, in 7, so you're definitely not running it there. But you can't do much because your quarterback's hurt, and we can't even possibly have the threat of running the ball. So you're really kind of in trouble there.
I don't like the underneath play. I get why people aren't happy. I don't know what they saw. I don't know if that was a Trevor thing or whatever. I don't like it. But then, by the way, I don't think you should have kicked the field goal there in the game flow at the time. And obviously, when you're down by 8 on the 1-yard line, I think you got to go for it there too.
Sure, yeah.
I
agree.
So I get if you add up the 2 field goals, then you would have only needed the field goal. Like, I understand all that, but I don't think in the game flow that's how it turned out.
Hey, you guys may be right. I'm just second half possessions case for the Titans. Touchdown, punt, interception, punt, end of game.
Well, no, as it turned out, Aaron,
Right.
You're right. Like, it would have been better to have the ball with 2 minutes to go and just need a field goal.
Had they stopped them before that drive, do you have it up?
I have it up.
So it went touchdown. Is the next Jags drive the drive this happened, or did the Tennessee get it again?
So Tennessee has the ball to start off the third.
Yep.
They score a touchdown,
Yep.
2 minute, 15-second drive. The first drive for the Jags starts at 12:45. It's a 12-play drive.
That's the
goes
drive.
5.5 minutes.
Yes.
It nets 42 yards, and it turns over on downs.
Yes. So you, at that point, had never stopped them other than the punter dropping the ball.
You had. They punted on the second possession, and then they turned over on downs on the 5th possession.
Okay, you stopped them once.
Twice. And then halftime, they score again.
Yeah, there's no scenario where you can sit there and say we're playing well enough on defense.
No, you're not. You're not sitting there going, oh, defense has it locked up. I 100% have faith. But you can at least say, hey, we need to put points on the board.
Yeah.
Especially this
understand
offense.
By the way, there was another 3rd and 6 play that Moore dropped the ball or it would have been a first down. Like, they would have converted on that on one of the punts.
Right.
I mean, the defense was just atrocious. The defense was not good. They made one big play. Cisco did. And other than that, the defense was terrible. It was so disappointing.
Trayvon almost made a play.
It's very important to note here, the Titans suck.
It's a good point.
They
Forgot
suck.
about that.
Their offensive line is awful. And
Don't tell them.
Dominated the Jags defensive front.
Yeah, don't tell them, boys. They're celebrating today.
So, again, I'm not blaming Doug for the game flow there either. I felt like they were going to score in the 30s at least. And amazingly, they didn't, and they still haven't scored 30 points in a game since January 2nd of 2022, which was the 2021 season.
Keep the streak going, baby. Sit on that for 6
how bad
months.
their offense is.
We got them.
Yet they ruined the AFC East chances of the Dolphins and the AFC South chances of the Jags in the last month.
Love it.
Isn't that crazy? Crazy. All right. Balky, Doug, Press. I actually do think if there's one coaching change, like my odds on I still think Balky could be, but I think Mike Caldwell could be. Like, I think that, what do we know about Mike Caldwell's defense? It's good sometimes. It's not good sometimes.
I actually think that's the probable move.
That's what I would say. I think from an odds standpoint, if there was a move to be made, I think that's the probable move.
I'm with you.
Agree.
But only because, like, what happens when you get rid of Press? It's still Doug.
They're
and
not
whoever you
firing
bring in.
Press,
Yeah,
right.
They're not. I think that was determined today. But there's another part of this equation, and that's Trevor Lawrence. And how much of this is on Trevor? And do you think Doug is even a little bit disappointed in his quarterback? We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
It's another cloudy day on this Monday with an isolated shower here or there. The best shot of rain is going to be later in the day today, with temperatures staying a bit cool through the day, only in the mid-60s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Great financing options for the holidays available. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Hey, folks. Now that the kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I can see that it's time to get my carpets and sofas cleaned. That's where Zero Res comes in. Zero Res can clean the carpets, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google Zero Res and see what your neighbors are saying with over 5,000 five-star customer reviews. Right now, get 20% off carpet cleaning and 20% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. For more information, visit lsfhealthsystems.org or call 988 if you are in crisis.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-DO.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Hi, folks. Terry Norvell here, inviting you to join me and my broadcast partner, Patrick Young, weekdays at high noon for the Young and Norvell Show. Lunch is on you, the most compelling sports talk in the area. Well, that's on us. The Young and Norvell Show, weekdays at noon on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back, Brent Friends on ESPN 690. Text line open 904-362-9901 for a few more weeks. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts.
Just trying to keep the lights on, Brent.
That's an inside joke there. That's good. We got Albert. I want to know the angry meter. And you get, I think it was like Dan Patrick used to do, like, you got to do your weight.
Yeah.
Right? Was that the thing? Was it Dan Patrick did that?
I thought so.
No idea.
We should do an angry meter when you call in. So give it to us 1 to 10. Angry is number 10. What's up, Albert?
2. Sad.
Good for you, Albert.
2. You're already in sad mode.
No, let him be sad, Brent.
Oh, hopefully we can cheer you up.
First question was, did they ever say anything of why it took like 40 seconds to snap the ball every play? Felt like we used the entire clock. And then the second thing is Trent Baalke should be fired on the sole instance of it took Brenton Strange 45 seconds and 5 yards to tackle a punter. He couldn't even do that.
That's rough.
Well, he's a tight end.
It was embarrassing. All my stuff is in a duffel bag in the closet. It's not coming out till September.
Thanks, Albert. Appreciate you, man.
Good call.
Those are good questions. Yeah, like I think it was a little methodic, but at the end of the day, like I saw a lot of people talking about that, and I actually don't think that ever factored in because they had the ball at the 4th and goal with 7 minutes to go. If they do score, and even if they don't get the 2-point conversion, that's plenty of time to get the ball back. Like, they had the possessions. So it's not like if they had got the ball back with like 40 seconds to go on that last possession, I think I would have leaned into that a little bit more. But they actually, they had things play out the way they needed to. They just didn't cash in. At the end of the day, they didn't cash in. As for, what was the other part? What was the second thing you said?
Brenton Strange unable to tackle a punter.
Yeah, like
which I also
know,
have my questions about.
Yeah, I think that was worth the question, but then I kept coming back to, well, the guy doesn't play defense.
Yeah, but it's a punter, Brent.
I know. That was kind of a big punter. That was a gift.
How do you guys feel
here's
about?
The thing. At least he made the play.
Yes.
I know people were upset about that, but at least at the time, that was a big play.
That's how we're judging it. Did you make the play?
Well, did you make the play? Because here's the deal. Later in that game, with 3.5, 4 minutes to go, I think, bubble screen, Trayvon almost picks off the ball, and some 140-pound receiver gets carried 5 yards for the first down.
That is true.
Like, we are just not talking enough about the lack of physicality of this football team. They are not physical enough to play this time of year.
Is that players or coaches? Or
I think
a combination of both.
That feels players to me. I think they have a good strength and conditioning system. Like, I don't know if that's youth.
Or
I
is
don't
that
know if that's not enough tough guys.
yes, I was going to say roster construction.
Well, I would say it's more roster construction, Kasey, because the knock on Fortner is he's not big enough to move people. He's smart, but he's not big enough. That's what everybody keeps telling us. So if that's your center getting blown back on every play and turned around, well, that's a toughness thing. That's a body type thing. And that's where I really put a lot of blame on Balky in that situation. Defensively, same thing. Like, who is actually going to light you up? Cisco does it from time to time. Rayshon does it from time to time. But Rayshon didn't do it yesterday now.
No.
Like, Rayshon did not play well yesterday.
He had a bad game yesterday.
And
Which, by the way, on top of a good season, but yeah, bad game when you needed it.
I really like Rayshon.
Me too.
And I think he's had a lot of great moments here.
Me too.
That wasn't it. Like, that felt like one of those games where you're trying to get to the offseason healthy. No, seriously, that's what Tennessee should have been tackling like.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We need you. Like, I know this might be it for you. You got to play the hair on fire.
Not to pile on Brenton Strange, but since Albert brought him up, you guys have a feeling, any direction on the fact that Brenton Strange had as many penalties this year as both Ingram and Farrell combined? Or as many penalties as he had receptions?
Yeesh.
Well, I don't think the reception. He can't control the receptions part, and I guess I'm not that surprised by the penalties because he's a younger guy than those two.
But this is what Doug is talking about, though.
Yeah.
And I just...
You picked him in second round, Brent.
I find it hard to understand how this problem solves itself. Like, if you're looking back as someone on the team going, it's just got to work itself out.
Well, Doug thinks that's what's going to happen.
That doesn't seem like a solution.
And I think that's a fair question. Is it part of their DNA that they turn it over and they don't tackle well? But I've seen them not turn it over, and I've seen them tackle well. Like, there were games earlier this year I was raving about their tackling ability.
Albert following up on his phone call in the chat.
Shout out.
Regarding Brenton Strange. You're an athlete. Second round pick. I need to call back in. What play did Brenton Strange make? The punter gave up.
He gave up.
Get Albert's voice on here.
He's like in the stranglehold of a python. Right? Like, and he just said, I've had enough.
I'm just going to hit the ground. Yeah. No one's expecting me to keep running anyway.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right, I tried. Made the tape look good. Doug continues to blame turnovers.
Yeah. That's a real reason.
Is he taking a shot at Trevor?
I don't think it's a shot, but if we like, we've been talking about accountability ad nauseum for weeks, if not ever. And if you're going to blame someone first and foremost on the turnovers, I think it's the guy doing it pretty frequently.
I'd agree.
I don't mind Doug pointing the finger at Trev on turnovers. Trevor's doing the same. He said right after the game, he was like, this is the thing I have to work on this offseason. It's not the out route. It's not the dive over the pile on 4th and 1. It's turning the ball over.
Do you think he believes in Trevor?
I do. Oh, yeah.
I bet he's annoyed at times. But,
well, sure.
I mean, yeah. It's just not a good taste. Nobody has a good taste, the whole thing, in your mouth. But you really don't have a good taste at the end here with Trevor.
Yeah, I don't.
That was not me.
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the hell happened on that one play. I don't know what he was doing on the interception deep to Zay Jones. Mm-hmm. But, like, the other one wasn't his fault. Ingram's going to catch the ball.
Fair.
Now, he then on, like, your 4th and 2 play, your 3rd and 2 play. Man, I remember tweeting this right before the play. It's like, Trevor, drop back, let everybody go out for a route, and then run for 2 yards to pick up the first down. I don't understand why they don't tell him to do that. He had it, too. He had a pocket right up the right side, run for 2 downs, boom.
That's where the running back was supposed to go.
Instead, he like, airmails it. So, like, I'm not sure what concerns me. I have 3 concerns about Trevor. The turnovers are, in my opinion, the blame of his turnovers, because there are some that aren't him. They go off at people's hands and stuff and are a little unlucky. But the fumbles and other things are him not taking his medicine and him trying to do too much. He has got to settle down.
26 turnovers.
And not do too much. His turnovers are ridiculously high. I can't defend it.
How many were yesterday?
2.
He has
2 interceptions. Did he fumble?
No, he didn't.
He has 60 total then.
Oh, yeah. It's too much.
On his career.
It's Winston,
25 and 26
Bortles,
this year.
It's those kind of – you can't get away from it. Like, I can't defend that. Now, my eyes tell me he's way better than those guys in a lot of different ways.
Way better.
So I don't classify him in that. But the turnovers are what they are. And it was a big reason why you guys melted down at the end of the season. You couldn't take care of the football. That never stopped. The Jaguars turned the football over. Even during their 5-game win streak, they turned the football over. It's got to stop. But I think a lot of his turnovers, the ones that you would put blame on him, come from him trying to do too much. And I get that, especially as a young player that's always made a lot of big plays, but he's got to learn to couch that. And I don't know what that is. I don't know. I think that comes with a little maturity and experience and things like that. But I think he has to learn. I do think some of his, like the football IQ moments, I don't know. Like, I don't think he should have quarterback sneaked in that spot. No. I think he was too far away.
I think he thought with his long arms he'd just be able to reach.
I know, but he couldn't. Like, you have to know. Like, you have to know. You can't just do that. Or do it on third down.
Yeah.
So you live another down.
I think there's too often that he thinks he's like, this is going to not sound great, but he thinks he's him.
I don't mind that mentality, though. You kind of want that in your quarterback.
You want the swagger, right?
But is it working?
Well, that's the thing. You have to then deliver for people not to question if you are him.
Yeah.
So now through all the games, he has 8 more total touchdowns and turnovers. 8. Like, if you're going to take a lot of the risk that you're taking, it's not an 8. A +8's not good enough.
And by the way, like, I understand people are talking about trading Trevor Lawrence. It's just nonsense.
Did somebody say that?
It's all over X, of course. That being said, you have now exited the excuse years.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going into year 4, and if it's not what everyone thinks it's supposed to look like, what is left?
Yeah, and so here's my so I give you 2 problems. There's just a situational stuff he's gotten better at, but he still has moments. I mean, the end of the Baltimore game is another one of those, whether that was him or coaching. Again, you never know who this is on. Like, it always looks like it's on the quarterback. Like, I get that. But I also can't make every excuse for Trevor, right? I mean, I'll make Ingram should have caught the ball. That's not on him.
Agreed.
But the other one is on him. The 4th down call, you better get in that spot.
Totally.
So you've got to pick it at the right spot if you're going to do it. Listen, he's gotten away with it a couple of times. The Tennessee game last year, the stiff arm. He almost got tackled. He tried it again against Kansas City this year on the 3-yard line, 2-yard line. It didn't work. He went backwards.
I might feel different if I was a Jags fan. I don't mind him taking those shots.
But you got to cash in more than you don't.
That's true.
And especially in the biggest of moments. I appreciate that he has the willingness to do it.
The Stones to be like, I'm the dude. Put it on me. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm with it.
I appreciate that. But you can only appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Right. You got to actually deliver.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not a lot of appreciation today.
By the way, has anyone else realized that out of all the 2021 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, Trey Lance, the only one going to the playoffs this year? Just say it.
All right.
And one last thing. This is my issue yesterday with Trevor. I think if you take most teams around the National Football League, and especially franchise quarterbacks, you get the ball and your season's on the line with 2 minutes to go, and you get 8 yards on the first play. I don't care whose fault it was, what you missed, whatever else. You usually pick up a first down and have a drive that gives you a chance. Like, everybody does that.
Yeah.
The Jags couldn't get a first down.
Oh, sir.
And I don't know if, again, coaching, did Ridley miss? The play was there. I don't care. You have to at least advance the ball and give yourself a chance to win that football game. They had a chance. Like, it could have been another really good moment for Trevor.
Actually, I had more first downs than Tennessee did yesterday.
They move the ball all the time. You want me to bring up my sheet? Where did it go? They bring it up.
No,
they
we don't
move
need
the ball.
His beautiful mind math.
We get it.
You really need more of it based on yesterday's game,
It's an unbelievable statistic.
And it got worse, yeah.
6 possessions inside their territory. They scored 2 field goals and a touchdown. It's amazing. They had 1 punt yesterday. And they scored just 20 points. Barely.
It really is an indictment on the kicker when you turn it over on downs 3 out of your last 4 possessions.
It doesn't look good.
It does not look good.
So what are you doing with Trevor? Is he getting the contract this year? We'll talk about it when we come back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet. Now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team, and it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hey, Bruiser, you ready to do the old holiday shopping routine?
Yeah, I got all the houses picked out.
Alrighty.
Hey, you know I almost feel sorry for these folks.
Don't go soft on me now. That's why they pay insurance.
Okay, so you promise those kids will just lose their bikes for a little while?
Yeah, I promise. Whatever.
All right, then let's sing our favorite holiday song.
Yeah. We're making our list, checking it twice.
Looking for houses with things that are nice. Bruiser and Browser are coming to town. We're filling our truck, we won't leave much.
Avoiding those houses that got safe touch.
Bruiser and Browser are coming to town.
Crime does increase during the holidays. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, owner of Safe Touch Security Systems. Our new Safe Touch two-way communicator saves lives and prevents property loss every day. Our average response time is an incredible 14 seconds. Nobody can match our service or our price. You have my guarantee on it.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license EF2001945.
Medicare can be confusing. Shine is a great resource to get the help you need. Shine helps with healthcare options, prescription questions, and more.
My counselor helped me understand which options were best for me.
Shine is free, unbiased, and can save you money.
Talking to my Shine counselor really gave me peace of mind. When it comes to Medicare, I tell my friends to call Shine.
Get free Medicare help. Call the Shine helpline at 1-888-242-4464.
This year, I resolved to have a whole new view in life.
Nice. So what are we talking? New attitude? Maybe new glasses?
Nope. New windows and doors from American Window Products.
New view. I see what you did there.
They're Jacksonville's oldest family-owned replacement window and door company. Great prices, selection, professional installation. They look great too. And you can save $250 off any entry door and free installation on 6 or more windows in January when you call 731-2247 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Thanks. I'll give them a look.
Meet Mike Lester.
Talent is not going to be the right choice for every single person out there, right? Because everybody is different. We do well when our clients do well. We're literally sitting on the same side of the table with them. We're in this together.
Yeah.
When you do well, I'll do well. Once we have that understanding, then we can come up with a plan that's designed to help you be successful in retirement.
Find out more at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Florida License D056341.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of Jacksonville is celebrating 35 years of supporting the health and well-being of critically ill children and their families who need to be near a hospital. To learn more, visit rmhcjacksonville.org.
Yeah, we're replacing the carpets too, so don't worry about that.
No fresh powder yet, but Dan's Ski Lodge has an avalanche of projects.
Those 4 rooms are getting hot tubs.
He needs a staff engineer to navigate a flurry of new requests.
And all of those will be fully ADA accessible.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next-day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
I know it's an emotional day in Jacksonville, last 24 hours, but I am curious to see where people stand on the Trevor Lawrence getting paid front. I think everybody's in agreement on Josh Allen, but what about Trevor Lawrence? It's usually the offseason where it happens for a franchise QB going into year number 4. So we'll get to that football at 5 coming up around the corner, 904-362-9901. You can call, text either way. And right now you can call to win tickets to the River City Rumble. UNF and JU playing Friday, 7 o'clock. Big clash early in the A-Sun season at UNF Arena, 7 o'clock game, 904-362-9901. We'll say caller number 3 for the tickets. A couple of tickets to the game because, the Birds of Trey were at it on Saturday. They beat Florida Gulf Coast big time, knocking down threes left and right.
Come on.
JU went winless on the road trip to start A-Sun play. The Ospreys lost to Heartbreaker against Stetson, blew a 10-point lead, and then crushed Florida Gulf Coast. So that was a nice win on the road. They'll play Friday, 904-362-9901 for a couple of tickets to the game for the River City Rumble. Football at 5 when we come back on ESPN 690. Discover how good your water can be with a new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Great financing options for the holidays available. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey folks, now that the kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I can see that it's time to get my carpets and sofas cleaned. That's where Zero Res comes in. Zero Res can clean the carpets, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google Zero Res and see what your neighbors are saying with over 5,000 5-star customer reviews. Right now, get 20% off carpet cleaning and 20% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, it sure is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back just for buying the gas I was going to buy anyway.
But is it a hassle to use?
No, it's super fast and easy, and I can cash out whenever I want.
That's a total no-brainer. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PASS for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's promo code PASS. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PASS for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PASS.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. All eyes on Houston tonight, where number 1 Michigan and number 2 Washington clash in the College Football Playoff National Championship game. 6:30 Eastern ESPN Radio, 7:30 Eastern ESPN, and other ESPN platforms. One day after the Patriots ended their 4-13 season, Coach Bill Belichick, with a reminder for reporters that he is under contract, also said he's open to letting someone else handle personnel duties if he remains in New England. He is set to meet soon with owner Bob Kraft. Should Belichick leave, who might the Patriots consider as his successor? ESPN NFL insider Adam Schachter.
I think Gerard Mayo is on the staff, and he's been linked to that job, but it hasn't been a great year in New England. So I think they'll absolutely talk to him. Do I think he's a lock to get the job? I don't, but I think he would get some consideration, as others will as well. They're going to cast a wide net. Look, Robert Kraft hasn't done a coaching search in 24 years, 25 years.
Wink Martindale's resigned as Giants defensive coordinator. His rocky relationship with head coach Brian Daboll at the heart of the resignation. Tiger Woods announcing his longtime partnership with Nike has ended after 27 years.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday, as we head into the NFL playoffs, I'll tell you which quarterback I'm most concerned with. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, your chance to win $1,000 as ESPN 690 wants to pay your bills. Sponsored by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute, JOI, where the pros go.
Enter the word KING. That's K-I-N-G at ESPN690.com by 15 past the hour.
Your next chance to win $1,000 and have ESPN 690 pay your bills happens tomorrow morning at 8. This is a nationwide contest. Message and data rates apply.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football at 5 we go on this Funeral Monday. No, here in Jackson.
Yep.
Selling fast passes?
Oh, you don't want the fast pass to this one, buddy.
Kind of do, though.
Yeah. Nah.
Just get us to the draft.
Gotta let it.
Oh, gosh.
We ain't making it.
It's going to be a long offseason. Long offseason.
Probably the same amount of time as it was last year.
Yeah, well, actually about 2 weeks longer.
Oh, it is a long offseason.
Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts.
Howdy.
This is the year a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence would get paid. This is the year Burrow got paid. Herbert got paid.
Timing-wise.
Josh
not
Allen
performance-wise. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're 3 of 5.
Lamar didn't.
He waited through the 4th year?
Lamar got paid last offseason.
I guess that's the 5th year.
That would have been going into his 5th year, right?
Yep. Tua hasn't been paid.
That's a good point. Any other ones? No, but those are good examples.
That's
Lamar. What held Lamar's back? Because he got hurt?
The injuries, yes.
Yeah.
Or so we're told.
I mean, so both have been kind of injury related, right?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Could you play that card here in Jacksonville because of the last 6 weeks? Like if you're the Jags, can you use that as a, hey, let's wait and see a little bit more?
If I was him, I'd be like, bro, you put me there.
Jordan Love didn't get paid.
Wow, that's
he hadn't played.
Incoming. Just saying, he asked who else. There's another guy on his 5th year.
Fair enough. I did ask. So if you're Trevor's camp, you want to get paid, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Go and get paid.
Go get your 200 whatever million as quick as you can.
I think most people are in that camp, not just football players.
If I'm Trev and his agent, I'm like, hey, we don't need to rush this thing. Let's wait another season.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Well, because, first of all, the money goes up, but also this is the performance you're walking into the negotiating room with.
Well, that's fair. But you don't have a guy that's setting anything higher.
Meaning competition?
Well, like Herbert had Burt. You knew that whoever got the money there was going to be higher, right? You had Hurts. You had all these guys that needed to get paid. Who needs to get paid right now?
Whoever's in 2022. Next season.
The 2022 class?
Yeah.
So Kenny Pickett.
Is that what we're dealing with next? Oof.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's
Trevor.
the only person is Tua.
Yuck.
And we talked about it in the break. Where do they stand on that?
Yeah, I feel like Tua is making like 45.
Right. So nobody else is resetting what this is. What's Buddy's name? Kirk Cousins. That's not happening.
No.
A lot of guys are getting drafted. Kyler already got paid. Geno got paid. Matthew Stafford is old. Stroud can't get paid, or he would.
I just know me and you were considering 60 a year when it was said and done if they go to the playoffs and make a deep run, and now I'm looking at it going 50 is a big win for them.
Yeah. The only one, which would, I don't even know, it's impossible, would be like some sort of sign and trade Fields thing. But Fields ain't resetting anything. So there's nobody resetting unless Tua wins the Super Bowl.
I don't know,
before
man.
Trevor.
So Fields will make a ton of money.
What's the most right now? 55? Is Burrow at 55?
Mm-hmm.
He was the latest?
I think so.
So here's my thought on it. And I don't think I've wavered from this, and I understand performance feels a little bit different right now. I don't think that's it. All right? If performance could dictate everything, then Daniel Jones wouldn't have got paid $40 million a year.
You're not wrong. It's not just performance, though, but if the job of Trent and the Jags is to get this deal done with as much money left over as possible, then they're going to use what's in the tool belt, and that's this season.
I think their negotiation, though, could be more from a flexibility for the team standpoint in some way, shape, or form.
Well, certainly
based
something
on
that Trevor
right?
might be open to, sure.
Or based on not where we thought maybe it would be, but we still love you, believe in you. Here's the thing about this whole situation. Jags has to be very careful. This is a situation where I think they really like Trevor. I think Trevor really likes it here. But they put him in a really bad spot in his rookie season.
And his 3rd year.
And we think they put him in a pretty tough spot at times. This doesn't take any of the blame away from Trevor in some respects, but he got hammered. I mean, Kasey was preaching it from the jump. I thought the offensive line was better, but we did say this like a month into the season. If he keeps getting hit like this, he ain't going to make it. And he almost didn't make it.
Scoreboard.
So
I'm not happy about it, but scoreboard.
I would say 2 out of the 3 years, like if I'm in the Lawrence camp, I'm like, can you guys do a little better? Right? I mean, this is your guy. Can you do a little better? Like, right, you're lucky we got through year 1 with the situation you put us in.
So you're Trev's agent, right? And they come to you with whatever the large number is, whatever the goofy details are. You're talking an AAV of somewhere around 45 to 50. Are you telling your client to hold, or are you taking the money?
Say it one more time.
They come to you with a contract. I don't know what the details, the deferments or whatever. At an AAV of around 45 to 50.
47 AAV.
47 and a half.
Oh, and a half.
I win the negotiation.
No.
You're not taking it.
Not taking it.
You're saying hold. What are you holding out for?
No, I genuinely think that if he signs a deal, it's going to be north of 50.
AAV.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be hard not to be right about where Burrow and Herbert are.
So 50 puts him just under Jalen Hurts.
That's like market value type stuff. I mean, again, like you're my franchise quarterback, and it costs $50+ million to be a franchise quarterback.
You go Mahomes at 45, Watson at 46, Murray at 46.1, Russ at 48.5, Jalen Hurts at 51.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying him. Again, I think there's going to be a little semantics here, but it's going to be right now. Now, if you can negotiate, listen, Burrow made it to an AFC championship game, or Burrow's been a 2-time Pro Bowler, or Burrow's led the league in this, or you could throw some of those numbers in the negotiation. I get it's hard. Herbert, maybe. Same thing. Like you could probably put some of these measurables and milestones and things.
I feel like you put Herbert and Trevor next to each other, and Herbert looks better on paper.
Yeah, but I beat him twice.
You did. You beat him twice, but he's also thrown for 6,000 more yards and 50 more touchdowns.
Who has more excuses? I mean, Herbert hasn't won.
He has not. That's fair.
And he has Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Eckler.
And Brandon Staley.
I get it, but, I mean, he's got those guys, or had those guys all along.
Did you think Herbert was the problem at any point? Not that you think Trevor is, but the fan base certainly questions it.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone ever questioned if Herbert's just a guy.
I don't know what's amiss, but here's where I think you give credit to Trevor Lawrence, and I know you got to also ding him here, and this is what surprised me, that they would lose 5 out of 6 games with Trevor as a quarterback, because he's a winner. He knows how to win. I mean, I just saw something else recently. So I just listened to it before I came up here. It was like, winners win. I'm like, well, that's what Trevor does. Trevor took a losing organization, and he and Doug Peterson helped them get to the playoffs last year. They were 8-3. Okay, now how much goes on the shoulders of Trevor? If he was healthy, they'd probably win the Cincinnati game and already locked into the playoffs. If he makes it through that game, they might have locked up the playoffs. He's not healthy. How much that goes in? Again, this is negotiation. But my point in this whole thing is, if you're going to pay him, you're going to pay him. Like, this isn't going to be like, yeah, we got a discount because he was hurt and he had 14 interceptions. It ain't the way it's going to go. Like, it might be the way you think it should go. It's not going to be the way it goes. And the other thing here is very important, is the relationship. And I think Shad has figured that part out, and I think he really values the relationship. I think they have the right guy. Listen, I've said it before, and I haven't wavered. I'd pay him. I think he's the guy.
Still today.
Yeah.
You'd pay him over $50 million.
Yeah.
So would I.
Okay.
You wouldn't?
I would. No?
You wouldn't?
Mm-mm.
What are you paying him?
If you want to talk about that 45 number, sure.
You like that 45 number?
I would just not do anything.
You'd let it ride another season?
I would not do anything.
And threaten a franchise tag him at the end of next year?
Well, no, I don't know about all that. But you just said there's like how many dudes that something needs to happen with their contract?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Right? So you're just hurting it if you do it now.
Or you're giving yourself some cap space.
You're making it easier next year. I get it. Long term, you might be hurt. But if you walk in here right now and say, yeah, he's demanding over $50 million, and you can give me those names again. Jalen Hurts, been to the Super Bowl. Didn't win it, I understand. Joe Burrow, been to the Super Bowl.
Lamar at 52.
MVP.
And then Herbert at 52.5.
Numbers are better. So, like, if you come to me with 50, I'm laughing at you. Because those guys have all done things that you have not.
I think 50 is pretty realistic for this guy.
I think it's pretty interesting that you're like, okay with 45, but not 50. Like, to me, there's not that much of a difference.
I think it's more about what the rank says.
I get it.
With this conversation, more so than the $5 million.
But again, like, I ideally wouldn't do anything if I was them. I would sit on it.
Because here's my problem with that belief, okay? And I think listen, from a business standpoint, you'd love to say, show me more. Absolutely. This isn't really about saving a few bucks or maybe $58 million versus $52 million. I mean, I made the case for Josh Allen a year and a half ago. They could have saved a bunch of money, like $10 million a year.
Yeah, but what do you think? Do you think you get the same guy if you didn't say, hey, we don't believe
That's
it,
fair.
go earn it?
That's fair. And I understand why they didn't do it, because they had a new regime and other things and hadn't proven enough. But the bottom line is, part of their job is to see that this could brew. They didn't believe it. They didn't actually believe that Josh could do that. And Josh showed him, and now he's going to earn about another $10 to $12 million a year because he's going to get the contract this year. So
we didn't win the gamble.
Or maybe 8. I don't know what the number is. But my point it's different, I think, even with this one. It's like this with all players. But I think it's different, and maybe even with this organization more because they've had players like Jalen Ramsey go and Yannick Ngakoue go and want to go. I think if you do what you said you would do, which is a smart business move, to wait a little longer. Let's see more. You risk ruining the relationship. And I think Baltimore Ravens did that. See, what the whole Baltimore Ravens thing recently with Lamar getting the MVP, and people are like, I can't believe nobody made a run at him. I would say, I can't believe they almost let somebody make a run at him. Like, Baltimore gets no heat for that part of it.
It's because it wasn't a thing.
Well, you can say it wasn't a thing, but they still put him out there. He looked unhappy.
Well, they put him out there knowing no
unhappy.
team was going to say, yes, we want him, because they had already talked to all the teams and said, hey, guys, we're going to do this. Just sit tight.
But again, you had a pissed off Lamar Jackson.
You did, but it hasn't hurt at all. They're the number 1 team in the league.
Okay, but that's not how it always goes. And at this day and age, players win that. Usually when you have a pissed off player leaves.
Not the quarterback. When's the quarterback left? Recently.
It really doesn't happen.
Well, what was the dynamic with Russell Wilson? And I know that worked out, but I'm just saying, like Russell Wilson, what's the dynamic with Tom Brady?
Tom Brady was old.
He was old.
Went on another Super Bowl.
He did.
I understand.
But, it looked like that relationship got fractured.
It looked like it was a bit tense between him and his head coach.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
He was there forever.
Okay, but guys, you're
and was
asking
threatening
me,
to
I'm
leave for
giving you
3
three
years.
examples of
You
it.
did. He's given us examples, but each of them are kind of independent on their
all
own.
Different. They're all
I
different.
mean, Aaron Rodgers in his 40s, Tom Brady in
Lamar's
his 40s.
the closest, but my point is, when player A gets pissed at organization, player A usually leaves organization.
And by the way, the only reason they could do that to Lamar is because they had him tagged. Like, if you don't have Trevor tagged,
but you could,
but if you don't, then it's a different
but here's
conversation
my
with
thing.
other teams.
If you don't do anything, in my opinion, the only thing that can get fractured potentially is the relationship, because nobody else is resetting you. So if you're saying you're willing to pay him $50 now, what's the difference if he goes and wins the Super Bowl, you pay $57?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, I'm more concerned about if he wants to get it done, everybody, how do they feel about it? Maybe he's okay with that. Like he said today, it's not a priority of mine. He's not even thinking that way. But the business is the business, and sooner or later, I said this about Evan Ingram last year, right? It's like Evan Ingram looked like right after the season he would play for free here in Jacksonville. Well, then the business becomes the business. And so at some point this offseason, the business will become the business with Trevor Lawrence, everything else. And I think if I'm in Trevor's camp, when you're in somebody's camp, you can make every excuse for that person, and you can say, look what you did, look what you did, look what you didn't do.
Sure.
And I think they have enough ammunition there to start fracturing that if you don't handle this the right way. I'm not predicting that's going to happen. I'm just saying I think you could. And I disagree with you on this front. I'm not sure. Maybe it's semantics. Resetting. But remember how you used to say, hey, Joe Burrow should not take the Bengals deal and see what he could get on the open market.
Because we thought it'd be more.
I still believe that's true.
If you did that right now with Trevor Lawrence.
Somebody should do that.
Somebody would pay. No, Trevor can't do that because he's
year
under contract.
3, I was going to say, or 2 years.
He can't.
From now.
I'm just saying,
I understand
even
what
if you
you're
did it right now, like if he was eligible to do it,
somebody would pay $65.
Somebody would reset the market.
Yeah,
they absolutely would. So if the answer is that yes, then you probably pay the guy that's your franchise guy for the next however long.
Which is why Tua makes more than 50 this offseason.
Let it ride.
Yeah,
Tua probably does too.
In case he doesn't buy it.
Tua's not. I mean, he's got to win it. All of the whole Super Bowl. Not just half.
To do what?
To get paid that much.
I don't believe that. I think they've got their guy.
Listen, I've been wrong a lot of times since I come to Jacksonville. I'm just telling you, I was right on Josh Allen. I will give you that. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I would say, I tweeted this. I'd pay Trevor tomorrow and sleep fine.
Yeah, me too.
And I get the risks. Of course there's risks. But I would do it. And I think they got their guy, and I think he's got to get a bit better. But I think he's also the guy that wants to be here and get better and do all those things. And I got to be very careful in this whole relationship deal how to fracture that. Doug Peterson, the story coming out of Doug Peterson's presser today is he's putting some of the blame on Trev. That's the perception. Now, I don't know if that's really what's going on in the building. I don't sense that. I don't feel that. I don't hear that. But perception out of that news conference is This is you guys' fault, not mine.
Well,
that's a dangerous thing.
That is a dangerous thing, but we're not sitting here saying that there's not blame on Trevor Lawrence for this.
No,
I agree.
Trevor, by the way.
Yeah, I think they own it. I think they take it, but
I get it. The way that you do it is the interesting part.
Yeah, it really does matter.
What your words
how
are saying.
You do
yeah,
it, right? How you do this, how this plays out is super important. And by the way, there's other big things here going on in Jacksonville. You feel like you've got your franchise QB. 6 weeks ago, everybody said yes. Then he got hurt, and now you have to work through some of that. They're also planning on opening the stadium up at some point. Like, this is the guy that helped build the stadium.
It's a good point. You need the marquee name now.
And I would still go with this, guys. They just won back-to-back years, and I know it's early for this. They won back-to-back winning record for the first time in 20 years.
Yeah.
And this kid helped engineer it.
Sure.
Like, you can't deny. Again, I'm talking from Team Lawrence camp. I've got these things in my back pocket to be able to use. And there's no doubt they could do better around him. And you know what? You might have to pay for what you did in year one to him. Like, that might be a real thing for Schott. Schott might have to pay up for that first year for putting him with Urban Meyer.
You also got to ask how much of the contract value has to do with what he does on the football field and how much of the contract value has to do with what he does off the field. Because he's a face that represents your franchise that you're never really going to have to worry about waking up at 3 a.m. to explain something to the media about.
I get it.
Yeah, listen, when it goes like this, it's hard. It's hard. The Jags need to make some change. They're going to make roster changes. They're going to be forced to do it. I still think this offseason they pay Josh and Trevor.
That's it.
Then we can have the debate in the next couple of days about Calvin Ridley, or maybe even the next segment. I mean, I think that's a fascinating one, is Ridley. But, yeah, I think they need to do better on the roster. I think they need to do better internally. And I think they have a big decision to make at the top of the snake with Trent Baalke. And to me, the decision is the vision good enough to get you to the promised land? Because I can tell you this, in my opinion, Trevor Lawrence is good enough to get you to the promised land. In my opinion, Doug is good enough to get you to the promised land because he's been there. So the question is the vision of the GM and what he's trying to build with those guys good enough to get you there? And I don't think many people would answer that as yes.
Is most of the reason you think Doug is good enough because he's already been to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but you know what? If they had won the game yesterday, and I know they didn't, all right, and that's on Doug too, he would have become like the first coach in NFL history to go to the playoffs 5 out of his first 7 years as a head coach, I think with 2 different teams or something. That's a pretty good track record,
That's
man.
That's impressive, sure.
I think he's got 5 out of 7 or 6 out of 7 winning seasons, or maybe 5 out of 7. And it just can't be. This has been a loser organization that these two guys have led. And again, I think you got to give a little credit to Baalke here too, somewhere along the way for that. But they have flipped it. Now, what we don't know is how penalizing was that loss yesterday to the psyche, right? To the culture of Jacksonville and this organization. Are they going to win next year? Or are they going to fall back into essentially Loserville?
It's a terrible place to live.
Well, it is. But, like, your Jets lost one player.
Oh, right away with the Jets after Loserville.
Your Jets lost one player, and they fell right back there.
Well, I mean, they weren't there with the player yet. Not ready to anoint them as winners based on hope.
So, yeah, it's pretty but bottom line is I think they're going to have to pay him.
I would love to have this same conversation next segment about Ridley because I'm curious where you guys think he slots.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think the Ridley one is, so let's do it. We'll take a break. Brent Friends on ESPN 690 904-362-9901. Calvin Ridley. Like, did he have a really good year? Are we not giving him enough credit? Was he a disappointment? And do you want him back? Oh, a lot to dive into on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. A few showers through this evening tonight as temperatures hold steady in the 60s. It'll be windy for your Tuesday with heavy afternoon storms and the threat for some severe weather as temperatures reach into the 70s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in the state of Florida.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
The inflation fighter is back and saving you thousands at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Right now, 0 down and just $288 a month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4 or Tacoma for 0 down and only $388 a month. But Arlington doesn't stop there. How about no payments till May 2024 and Arlington's Friendly Credit for Everyone program? Don't wait. Save thousands and shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Terms and conditions apply. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/used offers for details.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation.
Are you feeling that cold floor under your feet or those drafty rooms? Does your heat turn on and off all day long just to try to keep that home comfortable? It might be your insulation.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
Day 1, the hardest day. The day you hear,
"This is a type of blood cancer."
At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1. To learn more and get help on any day, visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jax on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jax. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. All right, so you want to talk Calvin Ridley?
I do.
It's a tricky one, man. Calvin Ridley, by the way, today said he's kind of looking forward to free agency, and he had a great quote. I really didn't want to put this in a tweet because it wouldn't come off right.
Oh boy!
But He was like, he said something to the effect of, his exact quote on this, but it was full of context, was, "I love me." Like, that would have been the one that jumped out. Like, you could put that in a headline.
Believable statement.
But he didn't say it like from a selfish standpoint. I don't think everybody else sucks, it's their fault. It was more
a healthy standpoint.
I learned myself. Listen, I'm still good. It was like, I like who I am, and I like who I am as a player, and I think I'm still good at this game. And it was in that kind of context. So Ridley's fun, man. I think Ridley, he hates doing it. He didn't want to do it today. He got out of there in a hurry yesterday. And the funny thing is, he's very genuine. He's very real. And I really appreciate that about him. The eye test says, I think he was a disappointment. The numbers don't suggest it. And I'm wondering if our eyes are wrong. We should put on some glasses.
Oh, look at that. Well, Brent's going to put on glasses. I'm going to put on Case. Go ahead, put on your glasses.
You guys are so old.
Oh, if old, I put it down.
By the way, it's amazing how much clearer everything is.
Terrible. You look awful.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. I got hit by a camera today, by the way, in the locker room.
I saw that tweet.
Look,
it was your own guy, Friendly Fire.
Yeah, it was Jack's guy.
I thought it was your guy. Okay.
Actually, it was Tepper. He was in there, David Tepper.
I was going to be like, what's he doing? He's looking for work?
Nice.
Billionaires, hard times, man.
I got hit pretty good. I was okay.
Took some skin with him.
Well, all of a sudden doing an interview with Josh Allen and other people were in there. I just got blood coming down my side.
You didn't even feel it?
You're built different, Brent.
Tough, man.
You're built different.
Yo.
These guys are like, see what happens when you answer the question right? Brent comes for you, man.
That's right.
Who hit you with the can?
Leads all
That was
over
my man
you.
Max. He didn't mean it. It was just like trying to get positioning.
I believe Max is one of UNF's finest.
And Max is one of UNF's
Shout
finest.
out. Look
Max
at
is
us.
a good dude.
How do you know he didn't mean it? You might have heard one of your takes.
I was trying to think of this. Like,
They
if
are
Max
terrible.
accidentally, really, hurt my eye or something.
Workers' comp, yeah, absolutely.
What happens there? Do I, have season tickets for life?
Yo. You should probably stop talking about this on the radio.
Should I not be saying?
I would stop.
No, I like Max so much I wouldn't even say anything.
And I would also
just
start
lose
saying,
my eye, and there you go.
I would also start saying something along the lines of, can't see out of this eye. That's where I would start.
It was like I actually needed one, that stuff they put on the boxers.
Oh, Vaseline.
Is it just Vaseline
Yes,
or is
that's
it
all
something
it is.
different?
It's Vaseline.
Well, I need some Vaseline. Vaseline, you said.
Yeah, well, they want it to slide off when the glove hits.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so Calvin Ridley, guys, where are you at? Bringing him back? You want him back?
It depends. What's the number?
It's not your money.
It matters. It matters because you can go out and spend it elsewhere, Brent.
Okay.
Are you really going to trade defensive interior vigor or big bodies on the offensive line for Calvin Ridley if he's going to cost 20 to 25? You are not.
Well, you're not paying that kind of money for him.
Someone might.
I don't think he's that. I don't know where he slots into, but I don't think he slots to that.
Right now, based on AAV, you've got...
He'll be 30 years old now.
Starting at what number?
Well, Evans is going to be like 34, and he's going to get paid.
He'll get paid a little bit. Starting at 20, you got Mike Williams at 27, Godwin at 26 years, not number.
Oh, I was like, there's no scenario.
Mike Williams at
gets that
27
much.
years old, $20 million a year.
Okay.
Chris Godwin at 26 years old, $20 million a year. Amari Cooper, 25 years old. He's only 25 years old.
Wow.
No, there's no way.
It says signed age.
Yes.
Oh, signed age. Okay.
I was like, Amari Cooper is not 25 years old.
I did this with the running backs a couple weeks ago.
$20 million on a Cooper, $20 million on Keenan Allen. DJ Moore, 20.6.
Who lived up to it this year.
You think he slots below those guys?
How much is DJ Moore?
20.6.
Yeah, because you're giving me guys at 25, 26 years old that they signed. He's going to be 30 years old.
Yeah.
He's going to sign a 2-year deal, right? Or a 2-year or 3-year deal that runs out after 2 or something like that.
The only guy that old on this list at the top is Devontae Adams, and we know he ain't him. So,
Kasey,
trying to find an older guy.
First of all, do you want him back? Do you think?
Yes.
You want him back. Kasey, you want him back? And would you make an effort to keep him?
I mean, the number's got to be low.
Odell is 30,
Like he got paid
$15
$11 million this year. Like you brought Marvin Jones in last year at 10, $11 million.
Yeah, that I'm in that range.
Well, it's probably gonna be
Odell
more like
was 15. Odell was 30 when he signed.
I'll take Calvin Ridley over Odell Beckham.
Sure. Any day of the week.
But he's not he's not the number one guy. So you still got to go get another guy. That's the problem.
So you still have to get a guy.
Yeah, so then,
or do you
no.
need a number one guy? Like, where are you getting him? That's my point. Like, they just said out of Cincinnati today that Burrow's like, yeah, we plan on keeping Higgins.
Go find one.
Yeah, trade for one.
Trade for one.
Or draft a stud.
So if you want to draft a stud, you got to use a first-round pick.
And you got to probably move up.
You don't care about the guard or center anymore.
I care. I just don't think you find the answer in the draft, not in the first round.
I agree with that. There were too many plays that should have been made by the number one receiver. The play yesterday should have been made. The play against Cincinnati should have been made. Like, those are plays that your big dog guy makes. He didn't make them. Multiple opportunities.
That's cool. Listen, I think that's fine. I think these are the tough decisions they have to make. I also would I just defend Calvin here a little bit. It's 1,000 yards. He leads the team in yards, touchdowns, and he's 13.4 a pop, and I wonder where they'd be without him.
It's also one of his worst seasons. Second worst season.
Is it his second worst full season?
I'm not talking yards, catches. I'm talking all the advanced receiving metrics. When compared to all his other seasons, outside of his depression year where he leaves football early, this is not a great season for him relative to his others.
So
now,
I wonder where
compared
he'd
to
be.
odders, maybe that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe bulky, and then they look at him, they go, he's still better than what's out there.
Well, that might be the thing, right? Price point versus.
But you're right. If you can bring him in at 15 to 17, I'm all in. All in.
I just don't know. It's great to say out loud that you want a number one receiver. You want. I've said this before. T. Higgins, you're going to pay a lot of money, and you don't even know if he can deliver as a number one receiver. It's an unknown whether he can deliver in that context.
Yeah, I see a lot of people on X and really just all over saying they want T. Higgins next year, and I'm like, I don't really see a difference between him and Calvin based on what you know.
Well, size. It's a different body.
But based on what you know, what they can do, like Ridley can perform.
I would agree with
this
that.
year.
I would agree with that from a performance standpoint. I think what you change is this size, the physicality, or the style of receiver that you have where compared to the other guys that you already have. I wonder if they'll keep Zay. I think they're going to definitely keep Kirk and Ingram they've got. So, like, really, you have one spot to figure out. Can you get a true number one guy? Is that guy in the draft? Is he a young player? Or is he somebody that you're bringing over for $20 million, or are you better off spending that on the offensive line or the defensive front?
If you're looking for a number one receiver in the draft, you have three options, and all three of them, I think, are top 15 picks. So you got to move up, which means you're spending draft capital. We know the team does not like to trade up.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. I don't see them doing that.
So it's Ridley or Higgins or bust, or a trade for another disgruntled guy like a Devonta Adams or somebody. Well, I guess Mike Evans might be available.
I don't want to bring a disgruntled guy into this disgruntled place right now. At least that doesn't sound good.
I would take Devonta Adams on any team.
I do wonder what year two with these guys would look like. I think Kasey brings. It's a good conversation because there's a lot to like about Calvin. I think there's more to appreciate than we are appreciating in what he did do. But I also think there are questions to be asked. And I think Kasey brings up those questions. Like, there were too many moments where it wasn't there. And when you need the go-to play, I felt like, you know what? He was there a bunch, but you could have been there more. And it's almost like this, it's close but not there enough. Almost exemplifies a lot of people on the Jaguars roster. They have a lot of those questions because of this late season failure. We just talked about the quarterback in the same way.
With an 89.7 rating when thrown to Calvin Ridley this year.
What was it?
89.7. Like, you would expect that to be higher to your number one.
What I think you could also wonder is how much would they have even blossomed more the last 6 weeks with good health, but also with Kirk playing? Like, would that relationship have taken off, or did it benefit almost that Kirk wasn't there?
I think it benefited that Kirk wasn't there. They started forcing 10 to 15 targets every game to Ridley.
Yeah.
Like, Ridley's targets really jumped up once Kirk went out. And it's like, if they're not going to get it together then when?
Just on the surface. If I say Adam Thielen, how do you feel?
You mean bringing him in?
In general, how do you feel about Adam Thielen as a football player?
Reliable football player.
Yeah, I would say reliable. Like, I know what I'm going to get.
So, just so you know, Adam Thielen had one more target than Calvin Ridley. He had 30 more catches, 2 less yards. So you're basically getting Adam Thielen. That's why I'm asking you how you feel.
I don't understand the comparison you're making. Why?
I'm just saying it.
Well, Adam Thielen is one of these guys who was catching.
Adam Thielen doesn't excite you.
Well, no, because he's catching 4 and 5 yard passes. That's not what Ridley was there for.
They end up with the same amount of yards.
What did he have for yards per catch? Would have been 13-ish?
10.
10. Okay, so there's a difference there, 13.4, which is that's the Jags do need that. They need somebody that's going to stretch it a little bit. Now Calvin might not have stretched it as much as people wanted to, but he did the other day, and was one catch away from having a huge day.
True.
Or maybe Trevor hits him in the end zone on a great route. I can't remember what time of the game it was. Maybe it was before the 3rd and 4th and 1, but it felt like a great route, and the timing was just off between Trevor and him.
Calvin's average depth of target was 13.9 yards this year. Was his only other worse year was his rookie year.
Interesting. Is that an offensive problem, or is that a Calvin problem?
I think it's a Calvin problem. I think he was just new, getting used to it, and we got the impression that Trevor wasn't looking his way for a long part of the beginning of the season. I think that number jumped once Kirk went out.
Yeah, I think Calvin's interesting, not only what he brings you, but what you're doing if he's not there. Like, again, it's a two-headed conversation. Again, I'll remind you, it's great to say you want a number one, but where are you getting it? How much are you paying for it? Are you getting it at number 17 in the draft instead of a big body that everybody thinks this team needs, and me included, thinks this team needs to get tougher?
One more thing to the Kirk conversation, because you had brought it up, and I think it's a valid point. In Calvin's rookie year, 2018, he plays out of the slot 118 snaps. He's wide 371 snaps. The following years, his best years, he goes 65 from the slot, 68 from the slot. His shortened year, 44 from the slot. This year, 128 from the slot. So with Kirk out, they absolutely started using him a lot more in the slot than maybe he had been used in the past, as opposed to that deep threat.
Jags have a lot of slot guys. Feels like there are a lot of the body types of a Calvin Ridley is, because you can get mismatches, right? On the nickel guy and everybody else.
But to your point, Calvin, Kirk, Washington, Ingram.
They do a lot of the same. Or maybe are better all playing in the same spot.
Yeah, and that's why you
can't really
again, the T. Higgins stuff makes sense just from a body type standpoint. But again, I just say you got to find it. You got to find it. It's okay to say it, but you got to find it. Can you get it? Is going to be something to watch for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need a more physical. I've been talking about physicality. I think the Jags could use more physicality even on the outside. It comes in different ways. Doesn't mean you have to knock somebody into next week. I think the Jags can be more physical at the wide receiver position. I think Ingram gives you that, right? He's good yards after catch. He can battle for a ball in the middle. Did that a bunch of times last week against Carolina and throughout the last couple of years. The Jags really don't have that. Like, the Jags haven't had a 50-50 guy since really Allen Robinson. But he didn't have the package to beat deep and everything else. So it's a tough combo to get and find.
Why do you think the Jags are so resistant to climb the draft ladder? Like, go get a guy like Udunzi or Nablers or somebody.
Well, here's what I would suggest. Well, because most people are. I mean, because you're giving up too much draft capital. These guys love their draft capital.
Well, obviously, when you're climbing up the draft ladder, but like...
Or you also views like you're one guy away a lot of times. And the Jags are more than one guy away.
Sure.
You're always more than one guy away. But I would say, let's take this from the lens of Trevor Lawrence. What do you want the team to do?
Well,
give you a true
me.
number one or give you
me.
someone on the interior?
I want both.
Well, I get it. But I'm just saying, where's your priority lie?
Let's save my life. Stop making me get off the grass every 3 plays.
I'd agree.
It's interesting as though
you doing that at 17 though, or whatever?
Yeah, but I find it interesting because I don't feel like there was a stretch where Trevor obviously got banged up and got hit, and we said those comments. So I don't want to be hypocritical. But I also don't feel like he was on his back every 3 plays. This wasn't a Zach Wilson situation.
No, the line wasn't as leaky, but, I mean, this line, it has been well documented. There was very little you can do outside of 2.5, 3 seconds.
Yeah, my contention is, even if I'm Trevor, the best protection of me is being able to run the football for a couple of yards, to be able to have play action. So then we can create these plays down the field. So everything's not in a box.
But knowing Trevor like Trevor, like, it just seems unrealistic that he looks at anybody else and thinks he needs more people to do what he can do.
Oh, I think he's smart enough to know. I think the one thing that, again, I go back to, I'm going to be in Team Trevor camp here. And if I just feel like in his 3 years here, I wonder how much he's trusted around him. Now, there have been times, like last year, I think in that second half, he either just let it rip and said, I don't care anymore, or he did start to trust things. But I thought all under Urban, he didn't trust a damn thing going on, from what they were eating in the cafeteria to what was going on the field. And then the first half of last year, it seemed like he didn't trust his offensive line. Started, I think it was last year, the Washington game where he got beat up.
That was week 1.
Right? That was week 1. And then he had to learn to trust things. I think this year, what I sensed, even when he was playing, whether he was hurt or healthy, I mean, we saw more body language from Trevor where he didn't trust what was going on because he couldn't even line up. And that might even be a Calvin thing. Did he trust Calvin enough? Well, certainly not to the level of Christian Kirk and others. Certainly not some of these young guys that couldn't be in the right spot or do their assignments. So I think as you look at the 3 years of Trevor Lawrence and you're asking him to play game-changing football, I think you also have to ask, like, what has he trusted? And is he right to not have trusted?
Here's my bottom line with that offensive line, though. You just cannot find a solution to this year's problems in the upcoming draft. You can't do it. If you're drafting a center, it's not a round 1 center. It's like a round 2, round 3 guy at best. The centers don't get picked in round 1 outside of Tyler Lindenbaum the last couple of years. And that being said, there isn't some massive center that's on everybody's big draft board that is expected to solve people's problems. You're not going to find some giant right guard who's going to be an all-pro next year if you draft him in the draft this year. Like, it's another guy that you got to let learn and cook and get used to the rest of the line. This is why I think you got to go back to the free agents. You look at Ezra Cleveland, you go, okay, a couple of messy games here. Is this a guy we can count on at left guard? Let's have that conversation. You go out, you buy a real right guard where you go, if you're not keeping Brandon Sheriff, you go, all right, here's a veteran that's done it for this team or these 2 teams, and we believe that this guy can play for us. I don't know that you're finding the answers to the offensive line in the draft if you need Trevor to win next year.
I think you bring up a good point, and I think the Jaguars need to get older before they get younger. I'll explain what I mean when we come back. Brent Friends on ESPN 690. By the way, one final edition of Jags Report Live tonight at Sneakers in Jax Beach, 7 o'clock. Hope you can come out and join us. You can watch on Fox 30 as well. We'll be right back. Put a bow on the show. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton on deck. And we have the national championship game tonight. Michigan and Washington for all the marbles in college football. We'll take a peek at it, but you can listen to it on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine. With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods has been serving excellence in Florida since 1928.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team, and it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
This year, I resolved to have a whole new view in life.
Nice. So what are we talking? New attitude? Maybe new glasses?
Nope. New windows and doors from American Window Products.
New view. I see what you did there.
They're Jacksonville's oldest family-owned replacement window and door company. Great prices, selection, professional installation. They look great, too. And you can save $250 off any entry door and free installation on 6 or more windows in January when you call 731-2247 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Thanks. I'll give them a look.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain just in time for the new year so you can have a fantastic 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knees or your back or your hips or your shoulders. Call QC Kinetics now. Get a free consultation, 904-274-5522. And here's why you want to call. Because QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The future of pain treatments has arrived, and QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or even injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get your life back. Now listen, it's non-surgical. Get a free consultation with QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. Put it on the calendar now, 904-274-5522.
Hey, folks.
Now that the kids and grandkids have gone home and the decorations are coming down, I can see that it's time to get my carpets and sofas cleaned. That's where Zero Res comes in. Zero Res can clean the carpets, the sofa, the chairs, the area rugs, and even the tile and grout. Google Zero Res and see what your neighbors are saying with over 5,000 5-star customer reviews. Right now, get 20% off carpet cleaning and 20% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8221. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
The Florida sun is burning bright and coastal waters are sparkling. You need a boat. Come to the Jacksonville Boat Show, January 26th, 27th, and 28th at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. Don't miss killer deals on boats and accessories, plus fishing seminars, kids events, music, and fun. The Jacksonville Boat Show, presented by ViStar Credit Union. Tickets at boatjacks.com. That's boatjacks.com. Buy a boat.
This year, wouldn't you like to stop feeling self-conscious about your receding hairline or thinning hair and to start feeling confident with the way you look? Millions of men and women around the world trust Hair Grow from New Nordic as an effective way to get thicker-looking hair. Hair Grow is backed by an exclusive U.S. patent and is clinically proven to promote more hair growth. One actual Hair Grow customer writes, "After trying Hair Grow for a month and a half, my hair began to grow and thicken with no breakage when combing or shampooing. My hair is beginning to look great." Another writes, "A friend of mine noticed lots of increased hair growth. I couldn't be happier with the results and highly recommend this product for anyone with thin hair." Start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow. Ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens or shop online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. That's new, NORDIC USA.com. Amazon, or ask for Hair Grow at your local Walgreens. New year, new you, New Nordic.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Thanks for the reminder, Kasey Kuhrts. Does he like my glasses?
He does.
South Beach Gary asked, most disappointing player.
Well,
offense and defense.
The only reason I thought about it is because I just saw a video on X of dude getting absolutely bullied in the trenches, which is what made me think of it.
Do you guys think there are any people who listen to this show who only kind of turn it on when maybe they're driving home from work, 5:30 or something like that, and they're like,
Who is South
Beach Gary? Why do they always talk about this guy?
It's possible.
It is possible.
He's this dude that calls. Sometimes sounds like he's underwater.
The true day ones now. Sometimes.
Well, here's the crazy part.
Today was rough.
Because South Beach Gary occasionally
Steven
calls.
was worse.
He was.
Steven was pretty bad.
But Steven, we know what's up. It's either like speakerphone connected to the car, head out the window type thing. But South Beach Gary, the wild part is he will call into the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Sound perfectly fine. And I'm like, so it's just during the week you're underwater?
It's a gimmick.
I gotcha. Okay.
It's a gimmick.
You think he was the guy in the fish tank in
I hope
Bass Pro Shops?
I don't think he'd be
That's
calling
the guy
us.
who I saw that story. I didn't read it, but I saw the headline.
Did you see the pictures?
No.
Yeah,
don't. I'm sure they were pretty hot though.
Don't.
They were
Okay.
the opposite of that.
You know what I feel like is wild? How Barstool or places like that have normalized just totally being like, look at your girlfriend, Jake Browning.
That is like a wild piece of
you
content
wouldn't
these
say
days.
that to
Yes,
anybody.
You're
like
right.
you wouldn't be like, man, your girlfriend is hot.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't just be openly.
You wouldn't do it.
But it's okay to do that now. Or for them?
For them, not for everybody.
I mean, they totally just. Now, listen, I think she tried to invite the conversation.
What made you think that?
But it's just a wild thing.
So just to be clear, we are not going to answer South Beach Gary's
No,
question.
we are. Let's go quick. I've also got something. I think the Jags need to get older before they get younger, and I want to explain that in a moment. But go ahead. Most disappointing offensive player.
Well, I like your point more than these answers, but okay. I got Calvin Ridley on the offense. I expected way more. I got way less. And on defense, draw me up a Tyson Campbell. I thought we were getting elite corner this year, and I know he got banged up a couple of times throughout the year, but even when he wasn't or when he was relatively healthy enough to play, we did not get a great corner. I thought it hurt.
Kasey?
On defense, the reason I remember, I saw the video, fully fought Akasi. Has dude played in 2 years?
Yeah.
Just
I
terrible.
like that signing, man, too. I thought it was going to be good.
I liked he came from the Jets. He's a great run stopper, but it just didn't work out.
Just absolutely terrible. And then Zay Jones. And mostly because of injury. I mean, he's injured a lot. I get it, but just
you didn't get what you needed. Yeah.
I mean, and after the Christian Kirk injury, you couldn't run the ball. It was Evan Ingram for everything basically, and Calvin Ridley at times. So I mean, I could easily put the entire offensive line in here, but I knew you wouldn't like that answer.
I don't think
so
you can go the whole offensive line. Anton Harrison is not in that category. I think he's been a nice surprise. Really.
I think you could say Walker's been a little bit disappointing this year based on the last 2 years.
Yeah, but I think they've disappointed him too. Like, what is he? I asked him today in the locker room, like, do you know what you are on this team? He doesn't.
He goes, a human being, Brent.
No, 3 years in, he doesn't know what his position is.
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's tough as a player.
Sure.
So, all right, I'll give you, I think they have to go. I'd like to say Fortner here, but I just don't know enough about, like, how bad he is. Other than it looks like he's bad and everybody thinks he's bad.
PFF says he's terrible.
Yeah, so I would probably start there, but I think Bigsby as a third-round pick, you thought he'd help you out more. And I think he showed signs of it yesterday, what he could be. Like, it actually was one ray of hope yesterday.
And on that point, good thing Ingram was as great as he was, or else the second-round tight end would be getting blown up.
Yeah, I've told you this before, that I do believe, like, tight ends take a little time sometimes. So I still, there's a little hope there on Brenton Strange, but I don't think you can discount that. On defense, I'm going to go Devin Lloyd, guys. Because at times I feel like Devin Lloyd is a Pro Bowler, and at times I feel like he's a bust. And I don't know how I feel about him after 2 years in a Jags uniform. I don't know which one's right. Like, PFF said he had a 90 grade yesterday.
Yeah, he does
Twitter
go hot and
told me
cold.
that he was unbelievably bad.
Well, he's tackling well yesterday. Sorry, Brent, I know you're making a point, but it's the end of the show. I wanted to make sure we got it in. Shout out to Rafael Valentin. Hello, I am a Jags fan from Brazil.
Brazil?
He says, congratulations for your job. That's what he said.
Well, I think, should we send that message down to everybody at Jags headquarters? He might have had the line of the day.
Hello, Rafael.
His angry meter seems like it's pretty low.
It seems like he's just here to say hi.
All right, so quick. Older before you get younger. The Jags need more veterans. Like, I look at the Steelers, and I look at the Ravens, and I look at the Bills. These are teams that are seasoned. Like, I don't feel like their young guys jump out. The Jags have too many young guys I can turn to and be like, they don't know what it takes to win.
Or at least young guys in important roles.
Yeah, you have too many guys that don't understand what it takes to win. Now, is this a great learning experience? It's great. But this wasn't a learning year. This was supposed to be a deliver year. And the Jags still have too many guys figuring it out. I think they could use some veterans that know how to get it done. They brought the Foyers in, the Evans in. Those kind of guys. I think they need a few more of them. Even if it's B-level free agents, I think those guys add up to give you a nice core. We'll talk more about how they can rebuild this thing. Angry meter seems a little bit better than it was.
For you?
So overall, I think we talked through it.
I bet on the Titans. I'm fine.
You listened to Duck's advice.
You knew it just didn't smell right, and you all knew it, that they weren't winning that game. You can say whatever you want.
I don't know if I knew they weren't winning. I knew it was going to be hard, though.
Titans money line said otherwise, my boy. Feeling good. You owe me $100, by the way. It's actually like $600 with the Nebraska thing.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton up next. He'll earn your listening ears, I guess, and my money. Jags Report live tonight, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. And we'll do it again tomorrow, 3 p.m. on ESPN 690. Our season isn't done.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. This month, you can get 50% off a Kinetico K5 drinking water system with the purchase of a Kinetico Premier Series softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Great financing options for the holidays available. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only LGBTQ+ youth center, offering health and mental health programs, housing supports, and teen and family initiatives. Jasmine is the safe place our LGBTQ+ young people need right now. Partner to support our effort. Visit jasmine.org today.
Hi, folks. Terry Norvell here, inviting you to join me and my broadcast partner, Patrick Young, weekdays at high noon for the Young and Norvell Show. Lunch is on you, the most compelling sports talk in the area. Well, that's on us. The Young and Norvell Show, weekdays at noon on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
I'm Christine Lisi. Countdown continues to kick off for number 1 Michigan, number 2 Washington CFP National Championship game. ESPN radio coverage in 30 minutes, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and other ESPN platforms. This will be the first time since 2014 that a team other than one from the ACC or SEC will win the national title. Today, Patriots coach Bill Belichick told reporters he's open to letting someone else handle personnel duties if he remains with the team. Also mentioned a couple of times he's still under contract. His status for next season up in the air as he prepares to meet with owner Bob Kraft. ESPN's
My
Rex
gut
Ryan.
says that Kraft's ready to move on. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I'll say that because he's had 10 weeks to say, this is my coach. Right. And this is the future. We're going to keep going forward. It's not going to happen.
Wink Martindale resigned as Giants defensive coordinator. His rocky relationship with head coach Brian Daboll at the heart of the resignation. Seahawks coach Pete Carroll told Seattle Sports 710 AM radio he intends to return in 2024 for a 15th season with the Seahawks.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday as we head into the NFL playoffs, I'll tell you which quarterback I'm most concerned with. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Coming with this. There we go.
What a disaster. Just not good, Brian. Good decision. Switch up the music. Not a damn thing to be smiling about in Jacksonville. Not one thing. Terrible. A terrible thing has happened. Although not necessarily an unexpected thing as of last week. An unexpected thing as of about a month or so ago, 6 weeks ago to be exact. But what a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
This is Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton.
Feels Halloween-y all of a sudden.
It does feel Halloween-y.
Or a nightmare.
It's the nightmare that never ends, Brian. Brian Middleton on the ones and twos, making it sound very Halloween-y in here. I'm Kasey Kuhrts.
Hey, folks.
And this is a disaster.
Hey, and listen, I got to do this to myself right here because I was 100% just knew that the Jags were going to be playing football Super Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, you were sure. I bought it. I'm the idiot.
I
yeah,
am.
That's right. You are.
I am. Oh, also, hey, putting Austin Eckler in for the final week of the championship game against Kasey.
What are you, Brian? I bought it.
Yep.
I'm the idiot. You dang right.
You know?
You dang right.
Hey, that's what I thought. Thinking that anybody wanted to score a touchdown, including Travis Etienne.
Bro scored no touchdowns. I'm the idiot. His fantasy team put up 0 touchdowns in the championship.
I forgot the Jags offensive line was like, we don't run the ball here.
I bought it.
Okay.
I'm the
That's
idiot.
not what we do here.
I appreciate it greatly.
Holy smokes.
I've already deposited the money in my account, Brian. That's a champion.
It's beautiful.
2-time champion this year. How about that?
Talk your talk.
How about that?
Scoreboard it.
I'm not even going to be happy about it today.
No. You got to start off with a little happiness because we got like 25 minutes of anger. Let me ask you this one question, okay? Before you let the people know how good you are. Have you ever walked around for a significant period of time with your, it's going to sound crazy, just answer the question, with your fly open?
Not that I know of.
I have. I did it today. And let me tell you, I was talking to so many people until I realized it. And I realized people don't really got your back. I'm not really friends with too many people in here. I saw multiple people. You want to know everybody I saw?
Yeah, I hate these people.
You want to know everybody I saw?
What do you got?
I genuinely like most everybody on this list.
Okay.
Saw Chase Bunker first.
Uh-huh.
So
Aaron's pointing at himself.
Aaron Schachter second. Hey, fist bumped Aaron Schachter. So I know.
So what you're telling me is
saw Justin Kuhrts third.
I do like Justin.
But he was sitting down and I was behind like
so far I don't hate these people.
I don't hate anybody. I genuinely like, the list. Wow. And then I saw Terry Norvell.
I like Terry.
And nobody said a thing.
I thought Terry was in the studio right now.
Nobody said a thing. People don't got your back.
They don't.
Because I would have been like, bro, it's a little awkward, but I'm secure enough for my masculinity, you know.
You got a situation.
But I was like, yo, the temperature is very evenly based here. What is going on?
Yeah, that's tough.
Look down. I was like, oh, okay.
That's tough.
That's what's happening, huh?
Yeah, there's no
so
recovering
many
from
people.
that.
Okay, I just wanted to get that off my chest.
No, there's no recovering from that. Like, there's no recovering from what happened in Jacksonville.
Look at you. Oh, you're not going to be happy. You're right. You said you weren't going to.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the worst of your problem. I mean, it's just so bad in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I do want to let you know that coming up in, I don't know, 20 minutes is the national championship or so.
Yeah, that's right.
It's at 6:30. I believe the game starts at 7:30. Washington and Michigan. You can hear it right here on ESPN 690. If you're on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you're going to have to go to the radio or your television potentially. But we have it on the radio. So I just want to get that out there. Yeah, the epic collapse is complete. They did it. They did the unthinkable. They were a 99% chance to make the playoffs just a few short weeks ago. 99%. There was 1% chance they weren't going to make the playoffs. 1. They didn't make it. They were the 1%.
Jack said, we'll show you analytics.
Oh, so you
We'll
thought.
show you statistics.
I can't get over
Probability. Okay.
I can't get over.
Yeah.
6 weeks ago. Brian, I can't get over it. 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were playing for the number 1 seed against Jake Browning, who the week before completed like 4 passes and got carved up, embarrassed in their, I called it one of the worst defensive performances in the history of the sport, and I believe it. And since then, you beat the Carolina Panthers. Way to go. Should have gave him a trophy.
Oh, yeah.
It's just almost unbelievable to witness what all of you in Jacksonville and beyond witnessed. Now, there is very little surprise that they lost to the Titans. If you didn't catch my drift last week, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like they were going to win the football game. Brian disagrees. I bet on the Titans. Money line. It didn't smell right. That's not a brag.
Or another scoreboard. Yeah, it is, man.
That's not a brag because here's the thing. Usually the teams I bet on lose. So I bet the Titans to try to reverse curse myself and lose $50.
But just in case you were wrong, you're like, hey, the silver lining there.
It's like the worst $300 I've ever won. All right.
Let me get my money, man.
So it's just, it's unbelievable. It's just hard to believe. If you want to talk about the football game, we can for a few seconds. Stop Derrick Henry. Still can't do it. Bro went through a whole career in Tennessee. Still can't stop him. Stopped him like 2 times in 6 years. That's it.
That one good hit. What was that last year? Who hit him?
Shaq Quarterman.
Yeah.
Fumble heard around the world. Not this year. No, not this year.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry one final time in Nashville. I don't even know if you saw this. After the game, he gets the mic and thanks the fans.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Hey, man. He's like, I am not going to be back here.
Shout out to the King, though. Beat the Jags one more time. Ryan Tannehill. Can't beat anybody.
Oh, okay.
But the Jags.
Some of that veteran presence that I was worried about.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, yeah, no, we want Tannehill. I was like, no, I don't think you want him.
All right. Tajay Spears, just tackle him. Nope. He's running down the sideline. Nope. Whoever the receiver was that caught the screen pass 1 yard away from the line of scrimmage and then got pushed 5 yards to the first down, just tackle him. No? Okay. Yeah. Just somebody make a play. Nope. Not going to happen. And if they somehow do make a play, Andre Sisco makes a play. Sun's coming out a little bit. Holy cow, they might back themselves into it. Nope. On the goal line.
I haven't.
Nope.
Granted, I don't follow the other 31 teams at all. I don't like not closely enough. Not their games, game in, game out. Not that I'm on this one little website, though I may do it. But I'm saying I don't.
2 so far, buddy.
I don't follow. Yeah, I know, right? I don't follow. Other teams. I can't remember a time, even with 1 in 15 Jacksonville Jaguars teams, of a Jags team that is scared or or incapable of getting a yard when you need it. And when you put it at the goal line, they are like shotgun or bust. Man, if I see shotgun one more time. Kasey, I'm convinced at this point, I know, and I'm sure on Brent Friends and across other media outlets, even nationally, press teller, catching heat, rightfully so, professional, you get this kind of heat when you get paid like this in this business or whatever like that. Fine. I'm convinced there are conversations we won't be privy to until 15, 20 years from now when someone starts talking, or tell-all, or, they do interviews or those random like podcasts and you hear stories. There's no way that Press Taylor believes in everybody that he puts out there on offense, or Doug Peterson. One of those two guys, I don't care what they say, behind the closed doors when they're making final decisions, and then when they get on the field, like we're going with this philosophy, there's no way they believe, and I don't know if it's offensive line. I don't know if it's the running back group. I don't know if it's the wide receivers, depending on what what the down and distance is. But for the goal line in a 1 yard within the 5 yard line, within the end zone, in the red zone, right? Mm-hmm. It is some of the most head scratching.
It's hard to watch.
Shotgun. I'm like, please, whatever we do.
It's a difficult watch.
Not shotgun. I can live with Trevor trying to get 8 yards on a QB sneak, because at least it's not under shotgun. It's a bit of hyperbole. I know it wasn't 8 yards. But Kasey, I haven't seen a team for 16 weeks before they added that extra game, and now 17 weeks, cannot get a yard.
Can't figure it
at
out.
the goal line when Philly's like, this is what you do. And I know everybody can't
Just
pull that play
push
off.
him.
But we got 300-pounders too. Trevor's thin, but Trevor's like 215 pounds, and we got a guy named Tank. I've never seen a guy get drafted named Tank who they don't want to hand the ball on the 1 yard line so much. It's incredible. That's incredible.
It is painful to watch them try to get a yard. And here's the only, and you can't give them credit, but the only thing with the 4th and 1, the 3rd and 1, wherever on the field, mostly on the goal line, you got to give it to them. They've tried just about everything other than turn around and hand it to a human named Tank. You want to see a little option? Yeah, done it. QB sneak? Sure, absolutely. Shotgun, throw it deep? Why not? Shotgun, throw it short? Absolutely. Anything but under center, turn around, hand it to him. Now, granted, again, I don't want a scoreboard.
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
Don't lose your point. When they went shotgun and threw it deep on the 1 yard line, am I misunderstanding? Because that's hilarious that you said that.
Not from the one.
Oh, okay.
But they've tried it.
They were trying everything but the obvious. Okay, go ahead, though. You don't want a scoreboard, but you might as well.
Okay, I don't want a scoreboard, but I might as well. Their offensive line was terrible all year. So the reason that you can't run some of the stuff, like turn around, hand to them that you want to get a yard, is because your offensive line can't push. Can't push. They played a whole football season with the extra game they added. A couple in the preseason as well. None in the postseason. Not one. But they played a whole pre and regular, and they could not run the football anywhere other than outside the tackles. They couldn't do it. They play 2 guards and a center and did not run behind them at any point with any confidence at all. This is the NFL. They could not run the interior of the offensive line. They could not do it.
The thing about the run game, especially, Kasey, and I know we're jumping all over and we only got so much time, it's not like you got 275-pound, what's the dude that was on the Giants? Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs, who was a heck of a running back, but it's not like, and he had quick feet, but like you knew he was going north-south. He can make you look dumb every now and then.
Right.
It's not that kind of guy who runs a 4.56. You got a Travis Etienne, I don't know what his 40 time is, but one of the most explosive players. He don't need that much time to get to the hole or a crease. He showed that multiple times in that game, even though it was few and far between.
Right.
Like, holy smokes. Let me ask you this real quick, and I know we're going to talk about this more later on this week, but just offensive line-wise, both guards in the center, percentage-wise, what's the likelihood we're running that back? Not asking about the tackles right now.
Oh, boy.
With the same 3 guys.
0. Sheriff's gone.
2 of those 3.
High. Very high. I mean, if you listen to Doug Peterson today, he said that they don't need to make wholesale changes on their offensive line. I hope he's lying. Just to be real with you, I hope he's not telling the truth because it's one day after an emotional loss and an emotional collapse. I hope he lied today because they're no good on their offensive line.
ETN's getting hit
Yeah,
before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Well,
you can go ahead.
Your quarterback got concussed,
What
high
else?
ankle sprain,
Yeah.
the knee, whatever actually happened there, the shoulder. Like, bro, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, all of them hurt for Trevor Lawrence at some point.
You know what? That's a good point.
I mean, so I hope he lied today. But I don't know that he did, Brian. So to answer your question, 2 of the 3 is probably likely.
You were talking with me. It was last week, and I will say this one part: as emotional as most of the fans should be, and probably most of the local media, even though some things are sensationalized, and I had to turn it off. Like, all right, nobody had a good year on the Jags. I'm like, all right,
That's not true.
You're
Right.
just doing that because you got a name
This is
and
the
you've been
moment.
here forever.
Yep.
But ultimately, Kasey, this is the best thing. This is the best thing that's going to happen to the Jags for the success that we want to see as a fan group over the next half decade to 10 years. This year right here and this scenario, we said it before, if they would have gotten in even at 10-7, lost in the divisional round, the complacency wouldn't have been as much as last year, I don't think, because of the way that the season went. But I think you still would have been like, oh, okay, we can do 1 or 2 things, a little bit more movement than we did last offseason. If they would have lost and gotten to the playoffs, if Pittsburgh would have lost, then same idea, maybe a little more urgency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you missed it when out of, I think, 16 out of the 18 weeks, you were at the top, solely at the top of the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going, and you have another year of wear and tear on a quarterback that is supposed to be your franchise QB, and it looks like your defense doesn't have any answers, and you can't get a yard on the goal line.
They can't.
And people are ready to riot right now here
They
in
are.
Jacksonville after a second win of season. Granted,
It's crazy.
there are going to be impactful changes that wouldn't have happened if they would have gotten to the playoffs. Don't misunderstand me. I want to make the playoffs every year. And if they would have made it, I would have been happy. I would have been worried about the offseason, much like how, one more time, scoreboard, Kasey, you were last season when you were talking about pass rush, when you were talking about offensive line. So I think ultimately we're going to look back and be like, this is crazy. They sucked. But look what happened afterwards, whether that means players are different, whether that means front office, coaches, we have some changes in philosophy or potential people. This scenario is going to ultimately, unless they fumble it, benefit the Jaguars because now you can't hide behind, we still got to the playoffs. We still were able to, who they would have played, the Cleveland Browns. We were able to get our get back against Cleveland. We're 1 or 2 players away.
I hope you're right. I do. Because, again, don't want a scoreboard. But that's why I believe someone should lose their job today. That's why I believe changes need to be made. Not at the head coach.
No.
But the fact that you thought all offseason that you were good enough because you won 1 damn playoff game in forever. You had this epic comeback against the Chargers, and you thought that you were just the next thing. And you said, we're so damn good. Not only did we lose to Kansas City, we don't need to make any changes. We'll just bring the same team back. Idiots. It's the biggest mistake they made. And someone should lose their job because of it. Point blank. Doug Peterson's not that person. Maybe Trent Baalke's that person. Maybe Mike Caldwell's that person. Maybe Press Taylor's that person. But they screwed up. They wasted a season of Trevor Lawrence. They wasted a season for this fan base. They wasted
Josh Allen's.
Josh Allen's probably should have been Defensive Player of the Year season. because they thought they were so damn good that they could just run it back and walk all over people, which was not the case. A terrible and unbelievable oversight. Buffalo's getting better, bringing players in. Jags are like, nah, we're good. Just unacceptable. Miami's bringing players in. Jags are like, nah, we got this under control. It's fine. Texans are bringing everybody in. The freaking Texans. Jags are like, nah, it's cool. We don't need anybody. We're so good. We lost in the second round of the playoffs. Someone's got to pay for that, because that is the biggest mistake they made. And that's why I say I hope you're right. Because after last year, and yes, ended much differently than this year, I get it, they made no changes. So I don't know if I have confidence that they will make the changes needed. If you listen to Doug Peterson today, it sounds like they don't. Because if they have not identified that they can't run the football at all, and they're not going to make wholesale change on their offensive line, it's going to get worse here in Jacksonville, not better. So that's why I say I hope Doug Peterson lied today. Because if he told the truth, and they're not going to work on that offensive line,
Trevor and Travis are just like, oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. We can save face right now, but
yeah,
ain't no way. Ain't no way.
So I hope you're right. I do.
Look, Doug Peterson, I'm not going to rep the Super Bowl trophy. He's a quarterback. Like, he understands. You don't have to be an NFL quarterback to understand the importance of an offensive line, but he has to know intimately what Trevor is going through.
Sure.
Especially when there's nobody in front of him, even though he was backing up guys, like Brett Favre and whoever else he was, behind during his career. Like,
he knows what good looks like, too.
Yeah. He knows what it's like to not have the confidence. You want to know why this offense failed? It's because Trevor didn't have time. It's because Trevor didn't have an extra 0.52 seconds to make one more read.
Mm-hmm.
It's because Travis Etienne didn't have another 0.32 seconds to get to a hole, and someone, hit him at 1 yard behind the field. It's those split seconds. I'm not asking people to be Superman. Like, everybody's Superman in the NFL.
It would help.
Yeah, it would. But he has to, yes, I think at that point, that's probably a coach to a certain degree protecting his team. You're talking about the emotions. It's very raw. It's not like he's on the sideline smiling like Jalen Hurts was on, during the Giants game yesterday. So you know that these guys are really the upset. They spend a whole year, their whole lives trying to get into a playoff game, and now it's just done. But there's no way. I didn't hear the comments. There's no way. There's no way he ultimately believes that fully based off of what you're telling me he just said. No way.
I would hope you're right. I would hope you're right. We are quickly approaching no more time in the show because we have the national championship in just a few minutes.
Oh, yeah, Michigan, Washington.
But there is more to this, and we will, figure it out in pieces throughout the week, by the way, because I believe we have FSU basketball tomorrow, so it'll be another short show. But this is not just on one person or one group of people, right? No. The offensive line gets a lot of heat on this show, and that's how it's been this year. But if you're just now tuning into this show, you're getting in your car, you're going home from work, whatever, or you listen a lot, you're like, wow, they're really piling on the offensive line. This is not just on them.
No.
This is not just on Doug Peterson and his staff. This is on everybody. This is on the top down. This is on... There's blame on the quarterback that we will talk about as the week goes along. There's blame on the receivers. There's blame on everybody. The defense. Certain parts of each and every position group. Like, this is an epic collapse, is what this is. This is a absolute and utter failure by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2023. Coming off your best season in forever, you have let the city down. And there's no other way to put it. And you got to fix it. And you got to fix it fast. because there's problems. There's people that need to be paid. There's people that need to be cut. There may be people that need to be fired. And you got to start to figure that out. Because as we sit here right now, on the 8th of January, 2024, the Houston Texans are hosting a playoff game in this division. They picked second and third this year. This is a team who just beat the Indianapolis Colts to go to the playoffs. And I'm looking around their wide receivers. I'm like, who are these people? I'm looking around some of their pieces on defense that are making plays. I'm like, who are these people? So as you sit here, 1 year later, the stats say you've been passed up by the Houston Texans. What are you going to do about it? They got to do something. I just don't know what that is. But damn, this is a bad day in Jacksonville.
True. But it's going to be a great day for either Michigan or Washington. Who you got?
Who you got?
I got Washington. I like Michael Penix Jr.
You got Washington.
He's the true Heisman Trophy winner in my book.
I like Michael Penix Jr. as well. I'm going to stay with my pick because I don't want to curse nobody because Michael Penix gets hurt a lot, to be real with you. So I don't want that on my plate. I will go with Michigan, who was my original pick.
I'm going to go with Michigan then. I want to curse somebody.
Fair enough. You can hear it next. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. Try to have a good rest of your night, folks.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A few showers through this evening tonight as temperatures hold steady in the 60s. It'll be windy for your Tuesday with heavy afternoon storms and the threat for some severe weather as temperatures reach into the 70s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax First Alert Weather